About Us, where you're at home interactive weekly geek con, all blended with wit, sarcasm, and a pub-like atmosphere. We're adults talking about adult topics and using adult language. We laugh and make jokes about almost everything. We don't intend to upset, but some folks have their feelings hurt easily. This is all done in humor in the style of the great offenders such as George Carlin, Red Fox, Lenny Bruce, Richard Pryor, Robin Williams, Wanda Sykes, Sam Kinison, George Lopez, Lisa Lampanelli, Chris Rock, and others. So grab your vice of choice, sit back, relax, and get ready to enjoy yourself in the company of great people, hot toddies, and guests alike, because here we come.
Put that long day behind you, good times lie ahead. With company worth keeping, that'll bash a smile on your head. Come on in, the door's open, you'll find just the finest folks here. Pull up a chair, grab a drink, and lend our stories your ear. Cause we're the talk the tavern. Here you're always welcome. The talk the tavern. Promising beer and bedlam. The talk the tavern. Music, medicine, then some. The talk the tavern. The song's over. Here we come.
And welcome to Talk of the Tavern, April 2nd, day after that fun day. I'm Travis Sivart, the host of Talk of the Tavern, and here I am to introduce Elizabeth the Pickle Lady.
Oh
my
hello,
God.
From New
Wow.
York. Was that, is that too loud?
That's
Not too loud.
It was very excitable, that's all. You're okay.
Everyone's awake now.
Happy Easter, everyone, and welcome from New York. And tonight I shall be drinking a lovely sweet tea made of my own concoction. For anyone taking a word list.
Made with real penis.
Made with real penis and water from my Dick's great sporting goods store. Dick's, we could use a sponsor.
Because we can't.
It's quite an appropriate one.
Enough. And speaking of dicks, next is our Brit, Kevin Crew.
Thank you very much. A man who, as always, can't get enough of dicks, even though we don't have it in this country. Good evening, everyone. As usual, I'm smoking hand-rolled tobacco this evening, and I will be drinking coffee when I get my shit together and go and make one.
You were like 53 minutes late, and you didn't even make coffee.
No. This is my dedication to the show. I'm late tonight because I was on lockup tonight and I had to wait for the last member of staff, and my kitchen porter is ridiculously fucking slow. So, Mark, you don't listen to the show, but if you did, you're a dick and you're really slow. So he's the reason I was late home tonight, and I've literally been in the door 14, 15 minutes-ish. And in that time, I've managed to throw a bowl of bolognese down my throat and also my jumper. But I didn't have time to make coffee because I didn't want to be late for the show.
Is that bolognese? Is that like ball mayonnaise? Bolognese?
Yeah. It's exactly what it is. That's what I eat every evening, Travis, to sustain me after a 16-hour day. It's a bowl of mayonnaise. Yeah.
So she had.
Who doesn't?
Well,
who doesn't?
But
White people food.
Ball mayonnaise. No, it's jizz. I'm saying you're having a bowl of jizz.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, I'll be sure to let my wife know your professional opinion on our cooking.
I don't know what the fuck bolognese. I'm moving on to Andrea.
For you.
Thanks. Okay,
Look, we
well,
already lost a viewer.
I have coffee
Yeah.
and sweet tea that I made, and then a bottle of Voss water. Well, Voss water bottle filled with tap water. Maybe later cigar.
Mommy Na has shown up tonight. Good to see you. Been a week or three.
Hi.
So
Hello.
you have nothing
Yes.
that's associated with men's genitalia? I mean, she had this concoction. He had bolognese. Nothing?
No, I have a pussy on my lap.
Oh.
Oh.
Well, it's something.
See?
Show it. Oh.
And speaking of pussies on laps, now let me introduce Ed Summers, he's been deported to misery.
Hey, what up, people?
What up, Ed?
I am drinking Meiomi Pinot Noir and vaping and smoking nothing tonight.
How you feeling?
Feeling a whole lot better.
Good. Was your
Good.
drive okay?
Got the cough thing going, but yeah, drive was okay. It rained all the fucking way, but drive was okay.
Okay. And then our very special guest, who is not special Ed, but it's special Tim. Tim Todd, well-known, notorious
Hello,
outlaw
everybody.
of the East.
Hello, everybody.
What
Hey,
do you
man, how
think?
you doing?
7 and 7.
Nice.
Ooh.
7.
Very nice.
Joyce.
No
Any other
lime
vices
rum,
tonight?
huh?
Oh, no lime rum. Ed, do you want to tell the story for the viewers about lime rum?
Nah, we'll wait till I drink some more.
I like the romantic lighting Tim has. And if you stay just so, we can see straight out the window into the neighbor's house, which we're appreciative of.
Hi, Towie.
I don't think you're going to see the neighbor's house. He's too far away.
Aw.
Turn that back on. Let's start.
Well, not if you turn off the damn light. Oh, what am I doing?
My wife turning off the light.
I have Quiet Man Irish whiskey and a good point. And then La Gloria Cubana Series R's Black, and also some coffee and some water. I like variety. Opening toast. Hey, here's to going down.
Cheers.
Here,
Cheers.
here.
Yeah, Spacey Tracy and Mike is here talking Towie. And Mom and I. Who else we got? Do we have...
Hey, everyone.
Okay. Skipper, are you here? Let us know. Give us a boo or something. Let us know if you're here.
I have to talk to you about something, Skippers.
There you go. Skippers are here. Andrea, do you want to start with that, and then I'll go into the other stuff?
I just want to say another vice I have tonight is a bunch of candy, thanks to the Skippers. We got this lovely basket.
Nice.
Nice.
Full of candy.
Check out the size of your eggs.
Yeah. Hey, they're dinosaur eggs.
Oh, that's pretty
They're
awesome.
really
With
old.
dinosaur candy.
That's a
Some
big
kid
egg.
left a toy Triceratops in my pub over the weekend, and bizarrely, it had a baby's nappy on it.
I'm so glad you clarified
Oh,
that it was
nice.
a toy Triceratops, so we didn't think it was a real one.
As opposed to the well, you know, I leave that to the professional dinosaur wranglers amongst us.
Skipper. Okay,
Yep.
I have a great many announcements. First of all, now here, I'll show it to the crew here first. We got these in. Everybody's seen it except for the one guy that came in late.
Yeah, sorry.
So, but for the public out there, the viewing public, we now have these, our new business cards, which the Talk of the Tavern symbol is off-centered. And I have to check and see if that's my error or theirs. But on the back, we love this feature. On the back, it shows you that we could write information like room number, where we're playing from, an email address, whatever.
Yeah, room number.
Yeah, baby.
Were you just holding that up to the wrong camera?
No, I held it up to your camera first, Kevin, and then their camera.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you get a different camera. You get the... Oh, see, it's bolognese sauce. You didn't say that. You said bolognese.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. It's bolognese sauce. Maybe you should have been speaking American. America.
I've always considered bolognese sauce. It's the Italians' version of that meal that every race has, where it's essentially using up shit leftovers. You know, like the chili con carne is, like a casserole is. It's one of those dishes.
Miomi.
It was
That'd
very
be the
nice
one.
until very nice until the last few mouthfuls, where I turned my attention away for a fatal second and found my cat face down in the remains of my bolognese.
Oh, whew, at least, yeah. Hey!
Well, Kevin, I've been
Hey, Mad Hawk, glad you
teaching-
found the doorknob. Sorry.
I've been teaching Bronx kids how to say aluminium foil,
Drive their parents nuts.
and it took them a while, but now they're digging it. So, you know, perhaps aluminum,
No, aluminium.
aluminium,
Aluminium.
aluminium.
Yep, aluminium.
Try
I
again.
have to use that now.
If we could have this conversation for hours, if you want a list, you can throw
If
in
we
your
could wait
students.
for the third hour,
We-
I'd appreciate it, so I can thank everybody for supporting us.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
We're just-
hey, real quick.
Yes.
Thank you, Mom and Aunt, for the bits. And if everyone notices, we have a pint glass that we can fill up with bits. Just watch it as it fills up. You do not have to spend your money to throw money at us. Just watch some videos. You can get anywhere from 5 bits to 100 bits per video. See if we can fill it up.
Oh, there it is.
Hey, there's Dez. Good to see you, buddy. And yes,
Hey, Des.
we do have a good crew tonight. Here's to you guys throwing your bits at us. They landed straight into our cup, and we put them in our mouth.
Yay.
Now, I want to take a few minutes to go over the Kickstarter. The Kickstarter, of course, ended the beginning of last month. Now we're in the new month. We have a brand new schedule. Monday's staying exactly like it is, so everybody that joins us on Mondays, it's safe. But we're adding 3 more shows each week, one on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. All of those start at 1 in the afternoon, Eastern Time, go till 4. Tuesday is Tuesday Tunes, where I'll either be playing music like a DJ or interviewing musicians. Tomorrow we have Benton Spiker on, who's done soundtracks for role-playing games and quite a bit of electronic music elsewhere. Wednesday is middle-aged gaming. We're going to start on the PS4, Andrea and I playing. It might lead into board games, card games. There is, later this month, on the 25th, we're going to Ed's and having a whiskey tasting. We're going to play a game while doing a whiskey tasting. We don't know what game yet.
Yeah, we are.
What?
Yeah, I know. It might be poker, Ed. I don't know. Could be Go Fish. We don't know.
Well, it is my birthday.
But also, we have new equipment from some supporters, so we actually have a mic that'll work better for all of us at the same table now. So thank you to Butch for that kind support. What else do we have? Thursdays. Thursdays is VIP. So for those of you who know us on Facebook, you might remember Virtual International Pub. Well, Thursdays is now VIP on air also. So we're going to focus on less United States-centric stuff and try to get more international, bringing in international guests, etc. But for the Kickstarter, there is one thing we promise to do, and that's thank everybody and mention everybody who gave anything at all on air. So I'm going to go through that. Now, you guys, Ed, Andrea, Kevin, Elizabeth, Tim, if you know somebody, feel free to interrupt, feel free to toast them, shout out their name, whatever. And I'm just going to go from the top of the list all the way straight down. So first one.
All right.
Oh, I guess I should say I'm doing this in ascending financial donation as opposed to who did first or whatever. I'm not mentioning dollar amounts though, because we appreciate every single dollar. And the first person.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely, it all helps. Same with the bits and the tips and stuff. Did you enjoy Thursdays? That was a test run. Devnall! Hey man, here's to you. Thanks for coming around. We missed you. That is
Hey Devno.
I need something better to ding my dang with.
I
That's better.
don't even have a ding to dang yet.
I'm danging right now.
In fact, I'll tell you what. If you excuse me for a minute, I'm going to go and get my ding out right now.
There you go. Good
It
to
might
see
take
you.
him a while.
It could take a minute.
You notice Devnall has that special blue icon by his name. So the purple one, because he's a subscriber with the star. Then the light blue one with the dark diamond shape in it. That's because of a cheer amount he's given. Just like, I think Ed has one next to his, and so on and so forth. Okay, thanking people. First, Mike Myler, who is making a role-playing game. Actually, he's made a role-playing game. He's now creating supplements that match the Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition rules, but bringing in like a steampunk world or the modern Yakuza type world or 1930s noir. Very cool stuff. Mike, thank you. Speaking of Mike's, Michael Whitehouse also gave. That's the gentleman who, let's associate him with Concardia. He does Concardia where he goes to conventions and has a card game with people in the conventions.
Yeah, I have a bunch of those. They're really, really neat.
I bet you the next person on my list has some too. Jean Rosnick, who supported us, and we see her quite often. And she has been a stout supporter of the show for years now.
Yes.
That might be the
She's
number
stuck with
so
us.
far. She has. So yeah, here's to Jean. There we go. Where's my ding danger?
Good Jean.
No, I'm not. Oh, somebody cheered or threw a bit at my face. Well, thank you very much there, Mom, and I appreciate that. That's Jean. Okay. Todd Gunther, CSP, not sure who he is, but appreciate it, Todd. Eli August, a fine steampunk musician, supported us. Allison Weaverdick, and I might be mispronouncing your name, which if I do, well, it's D-Y-C-K. It's Weaver, D-Y-C-K, so I'm not sure if it's Weaver Dick, Weaver Dyke. Either way, somebody's going to snicker. But I know she's online in Facebook with a different name, but we appreciate it. I don't remember what that name is. Michael Thompson, who's watching tonight, thank you for the support, buddy. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Andrew, while I'm reading this list, you just shout out who cheers and if we need to give them a little toast, okay?
Oh, the bits, yes.
Yeah. And as well
Skipper through cheers, Tall Sally,
Okay.
Mamina, all through bits.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it all. Let's see here. And then we will go through comments and reply to things down the way. What else we got here? Oh, Michael Thompson, I was saying, who is a great author of The World of the Orb. Check out his books. You can find them on Amazon and other places. As well as his mother, Tracy, who they support us separately. They both threw some in. I appreciate that. My friend for years, who's very amusing with possums and bunny ears, Roberta. Appreciate that. As well as a friend that we have over quite often. Well, for as often as we have folks over, Rebecca Reed. Eastbeck Books, who has Afterpunk with one of my stories coming out very soon, and a couple other books. They supported us. Jeff Phillips of Adequate Painting. He paints miniatures, has a YouTube channel. Good stuff there.
And he told us where to get the best cheesesteak.
That we've had, that we tried to drag Ed to, but we had ate so much there was no way we were going someplace else to eat more food. Bob Eisenstein of Victor Sierra, which I am so looking forward to Tuesday Tunes so I could play his music again because I love Victor Sierra. Even if I didn't know, who's a great guy who is kind, generous, and helpful behind it, the music is awesome too. Our friends Amy and Tom Martin supported us. Retro Daddio, Jen Thurman from Retro Daddio threw in. And then...
Thank you, Jen.
What?
Just cheers, Jen.
Oh, cheers, Jen.
Cheers.
There we go. You know, and I've got to go look this... Oh, that sounded special. What was that?
Oh, Devinol
Devinol.
just gave us bits. Yay!
I love those number sequences. Here's to you, Dev. Glad you're back, buddy. Glad everything's okay and you're here. I was just thinking about him the other night, thinking we haven't seen him for a while. Okay, so Rick Soley, a.k.a. Sven Shieldmaker, which, Andrea, you would know him from, like, he follows me on YouTube and watches videos. I think he's the guy with the Nordic shield that we saw at MarsCon.
Oh, yeah, I know who it is.
There you go.
He's very tall.
He is, and he threw some money our way to help support us and get us where we're going. Brett King,
Awesome.
maker extraordinaire and damn fine fellow.
Oh, yeah.
Now, there are two people who went by guest and then a series of numbers, which I'm not going to read the numbers off because they won't know who they are. One of them is Kevin's friend, so appreciate that to you. And the other one, I don't know who you are, but we appreciate it, anonymous or otherwise.
But thanks.
My friend for a decade or more, Annie Wacker, and her husband Ken, who I performed their wedding, dressed in steampunk garb while they were dressed in Doctor Who outfits at a Renaissance fair.
Like you do.
Yeah.
Standard.
Next is Scott and Nicole, which, Ed, Tim, you both know Scott and Nicole.
Oh, hey, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Night Watch Paradox, who we are going to have on the show sometime in May, right before their CD release, and they also have an ad in our ad rotation, so check that out. Next is Talking Towie, who has an ad in our rotation. So
Hey, Towie.
appreciate that support. There you go. She supports us in so many ways. This was just so much extra. Thank you. I just like the drinking part, huh? My friend Kim, that I have known since I was 12 or 13, she threw some money in, her and her husband, and they still haven't told me what they wanted for it. A lot of folks, like I said before the show, when I contacted him going, hey, here's your reward level. What would you like from this? Because there's some options. A lot of them went, I don't want anything. I just wanted to throw money at you and support you. And that's kind of what.
And we're okay with that.
Yeah, that's kind of what Talking Toei did. Because of her help with Twitch and other things, I went, I'll gladly put you in the ad rotation. And she just went, yeah, I threw that in there to thank you for that. So you're awesome. Okay, Jack Berberet of Con of the Mountain, who is now Nerds of the Mountain. He and his wife Lisa supported. EJ Strauss, who I believe I know who that is, but I don't want to spoil the secret if he's hiding, supported us. As well as Paige Devleton of Steampunk Life threw her bits in, and thank you so much. Next on my list was the first one to throw anything in at all, and then I contacted him because the level he supported at, I had a discrepancy between that and there was a price discrepancy, and I had to fix it in the text. So here's to Jamin Skipper, who has supported us many years.
Oh man, I'll drink to that.
Mm-hmm.
Cheers to the Skippers.
And candy.
And candy.
I love the candy.
You see her eyes when she said candy. Ginny and Ross Wilkins supported us, as well as Sarah Camerata, who is Calamity Dawn. And when I contacted her for her reward, I went, well, you get to pick a topic. What are we going to talk about? She's like, oh, anything and everything alcohol. And I'm like, so it's like every damn show.
We can do that.
Like every show. So I actually sent her a message asking if she wants
I want
to
to say thank you to Devon for subscribing for the 4th month
Four
in a
months
row.
in a row.
I think you're our man with the most stamina when it comes to that. Ew.
I'll drink to that.
Tim, we'll actually start including you anytime now. It's what the fuck was that? Kevin went all fat boy on us there.
That wasn't me.
It wasn't you, Elizabeth, and
It was Elizabeth.
sometimes she's the manliest of us all.
Yeah, it was.
I'm gentleman enough to take credit for it.
True lady knows when to spurt.
Who is that? Oh, speaking of 4-month subscribers, there's Mamanod joining us for the 4th month as a subscriber. Thank you, guys.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you, Gene.
So I actually invited Sarah on for our next whiskey tasting, figuring maybe we can get her on with us for it, because that would be fun. Learn LARP LLC supported us for a review, and I haven't heard back from them about what I'm supposed to review. So I believe we had them on the show previously. Maybe they were paying it forward. I don't know. But I did send out a warning that if you haven't got back to me about what you want as your reward level, there's going to be a point in time where I just stop worrying about it. So get it into me so I can take care of you like you took care of us.
Yeah, get it into him.
Yeah. That was stereo. That was international stereo.
Michael,
See, only with Talk of the Tavern do you get this.
International Stereo. Michael Harrison supported us, and so did Carolyn McNeely, who listens to us. Is she with us tonight? Is she here? Well, anyway it goes, I'm going to give her a little toast because she's going to be getting some reviews for some makeup that she's sending over to Andrea, and she sells.
Well, if you're going to drink to that.
Tonight.
He's drinking, she's wearing. Tempe Wade, who I will be doing a video review of her website and sharing that with you guys down the road. She supported us. Chuck White, one of the fellow fat boys of the group, the cigar group that I'm with, he supported us, and he's one of the ones, by the way, they supported us, again, end of the list, highest dollar to point that out. And when I contacted him, he's like, nah, I don't want anything. Thanks, I'm busy. And this next person I have directly asked her on Facebook, hey, did you get the Kickstarter emails? And she ignores it. She answers every other damn thing I send her. This she ignores. Thank you, Tara Moeller, a great steampunk author in her own right, for supporting us. Yeah.
Cheers.
And then our last two, I guess I could say them in the same breath here, because they've got a lot in common. Thank you to Ed Summers and Dev Nall for supporting us. I appreciate that, guys. You're the big dollar people. So here's
The
to
big dogs.
Here.
Here's to the big dogs.
Absolutely. Appreciate everybody's
Oh my God.
support.
And here's to the Reese's eggs from the Skippers.
And while we're randomly toasting, here's to me finding beer I'd forgotten in the back of the fridge.
There we go. Yeah, I'll drink to that. Now, any of you who pledged $25, I have 3 or 4 ads in our rotation now from some of you. Some of you haven't replied to me. I will gladly add it in, but the end of April, I'm taking them out. So get it to me as soon as you can. Now, on the bright side, you're not just getting this on 4 shows. You're now getting this on somewhere between 17 shows and 13 shows, depending if Wednesday is an interview for the gaming day or if we're streaming off our PS4. The 20
Also,
Mhm.
oh,
Go
I
ahead.
can wait till you're done.
Just 2 more real quick. The 20-minute topics at the $50 level. Nobody has given me anything because you're just supporting the show from what all of you have said. Let me know if that changes. Reviewing your thing, that's the $75 level. Get me your thing so I can review it. And
You want me to review my thing? That's worth more than $75.
oh my. I think that's pretty much it. The $100 level. If you want to come on the show, let us know. If you don't, I'll let it go.
Thank
Ooh,
you, Devna.
the magic-
More bits.
Thanks,
I
Devna.
want to come on the show.
So do I.
Come on, come on.
Also, if you weren't around to make it for the Kickstarter to have any of these rewards, aren't some of them on our Patreon?
They will be. With our Patreon, guys, we are Patreon or Patreon, however you like to say it. We're going to restructure it so it has a lot of these rewards. Instead of doing one Kickstarter every 3 years or 3 months or whatever, I'm going to start structuring our Patreon. So, for example, the next piece of equipment we need, which that's something else I want to tell you about. With the $1,100 we got after fees and the folks who couldn't make it and everything, that was supposed to cover 1 booster. I shopped like a dog. Hey, thank you, Des. Appreciate that. Here's to your health, man. I got a booster for significantly less than what I originally found the first one for. I was able to get a mobile camera harness, microphone, and light kit for my cell phone. So now I've got much better equipment to do those interviews at conventions. What else did we get, Andrea? Got a stand for the banner that we didn't have a stand for and couldn't set up.
Mm-hmm.
We got business cards that you saw. Got 1,000 of those, and we'll be sending some of those off to each of these guys here so they can give them out where they feel the need.
Kevin's going to be getting a camera.
Yep. Got the camera for Kevin.
Sorry, I would just like to apologise about that in advance. For 5 years, you've all managed to enjoy the blurring over these horrendous features. Soon they're going to be crystal clear, so you might want to get some more of this shit in for the show first.
Well, Mom and I just cheered 400 bits for that.
Is the cup filled
God
up
damn
yet?
it, look at the size of those bits.
Close.
These fuckers are gonna get me drunk tonight.
Ah,
Hail me.
Dear.
let's see it happen. See what you're in for, Tim? Is this what you signed up for?
Yeah, I figured.
I'm trying to think, and I'm almost done with all the announcement here, guys. Sorry to drag it out like this, but this is what the first show of this month is meant to be. It's all about, A, people who helped us, and B, going down.
Yeah.
Yes, Kevin.
What?
I was just going to say, it's worth taking the time over anyway, because genuinely, without you guys, I know this is all mushy and everything for a moment, which is out of character for me, but without you supporting us, without you tuning in every week, without you contributing your money, your time, your support in the chat box, whatever it is you do, there wouldn't be a reason for us 5 to be here. And frankly, this is our weekly therapy session, and we're all too poor to afford professionals. So please keep supporting the show. Thank you. I will drink to all of you.
Yeah, here's to that, and thank to Skipper, Dez, and did somebody else throw bits in the last 30 seconds? There's
Everybody's got their bits up tonight.
So there we go.
Devin also threw some. Yeah. Oh my God.
By the way, the thing you see in chat right there, that Stream Elements announcement about if you're tired of missing the invites, that's our newsletter. Sign up. It goes out once a week to tell you what the topics for the next week is. I'm going to send a bonus one out tomorrow or tonight, something like that, announcing our extra shows so everybody knows about those. But that's because we're going to do an event about no longer doing Facebook event invites. We might create the Facebook event, but no longer going to randomly invite people. Also, if you're my friend on Facebook and suddenly you're not, it's because I hate Facebook and I deleted like 700 people yesterday. Not because they upset me, just because I interact with them other ways or not at all on Facebook. And I don't want to have to use Facebook more than I need. So it is not you. It's me. If you really want to see my stupid crap up on Facebook, friend me again. I will gladly accept it. If you don't want to see it, here's to that. So the cup's not quite full yet, is it? That cup's fun though, huh?
I like that. I was just looking at that.
Yeah.
We're doing pretty well already. It's pretty good.
And I just want to say thank you, Tilly, for helping him figure it out for the cup.
Absolutely. And I'm looking forward to Madame Gandalf taking me by the hand and showing me some other stuff that looks pretty freaking incredible. So we're looking
I
at
bet you are.
She is so adorable. She is just adorable. Go watch her. It's hard not to go, oh God, I want to hang out with her. She is sweet and fun and filthy all at the same time. It's just great.
Yeah, it's adorable. She fits in.
Did I cover everything we got, Andrea? We did get another Lego set. I don't blame you for not having Facebook yet. No, yeah, you're the smart one amongst us. Hmm?
The Powerpuff Girls. I have the Powerpuff Girl Legos.
We picked those up
for the game.
Mm-hmm. And Just Dance for the PS4. So now on Wednesday, you might have Andrea and I dancing for the camera.
Yeah, we found it on sale. I was so happy.
$7.
I'm like, get it. Mm-hmm.
So
I love the dance games.
Yeah. Like I said, I really bargain hunted for everything. Everything was like clearance or whatever. But yeah. I think that's it. I'll throw more things in later if I think about it, but I think we're good because I should actually let these people have a chance to talk a little bit tonight. So we did intros. I need more whiskey. I got to light my cigar. Shall we start talking about going down before we're to 9 o'clock and have to take a break?
Oh, all right.
So, Ed, do you want to start out and explain a little bit about what we're talking about tonight and somehow include Tim in and put him under some pressure?
Not really, but I will anyway.
That's great.
Nice outfit
There she goes with the heavy breathing.
Basically, tonight's show is about activities going down. Skydiving, rappelling, scuba diving, spelunking, and the list can go on and on and on into the third hour. Tonight, I have a friend of mine, Tim Todd, who is a scuba diver. And I just invited him on the show to share some places he might have scuba dived that he really liked. Tell us what you got to go through to get qualified to scuba dive. Is there different levels? Whatever. Tim, get qualified to scuba dive. What you got to do?
Well, you need to take classes to get a scuba diving license. Now I think everything's switched to a PADI, what they call it, organization. And you have to take so many classroom classes and so many dive classes to get an open water certified, they call it. And that gives you certification, so you're authorized to dive down to 120 feet. And to do that, you need a little bit of math. You got to learn how to calculate your dive. And so every 33 feet atmospheric pressure, so you don't want to go past this and get nitrous oxide crap in. But There's different levels. Open water is the first one, and it goes all the way up to master diver. I don't remember all the levels. It's been a while since I got certified. I moved on to the second level a long time ago, and that's where I kind of stopped. It was enough to get me onto boats and be able to dive things. But you can do wreck diving, you can do spelunking like you're talking about underwater, and you can go all the way up to master diver, which can teach scuba diving.
So how far can you go down before your head explodes?
Before your what floats?
Your head explodes. Before the pressure goes, fuck you.
You can go down a long ways. It's not the going deep that's the problem. It's coming back up. If you go down too deep and you come back up too quickly, that's when you get the bends.
Oh,
which is
nitrous oxide in your blood expanding. They call it the bends. You can't.
Because it's horrible.
It kind of cripples you over, makes your joints hurt and all that.
And by the way, for those of you that were watching on Twitch, I did zoom in there on Elizabeth so you could see exactly what she's drawing.
Yeah.
Now, scuba stands for something, right, Tim?
You put me on the spot. It's been a while since I remember what that stands for. Self-contained underwater breathing apparatus.
Okay.
And for younger people, instead of scuba, it's scrappa. Elizabeth got it. Instead of Scooby, Scrappy, Scuba, Scrappa.
Yeah.
It was a cartoon, Ed. It had a dog.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. The original Ghost Hunters.
Yeah. Which Supernatural last week had a crossover with. Apparently the whole episode of Supernatural was animated in the Scooby-Doo style, and they met up with the Scooby crew.
Nice.
Yeah, I like when people do things like that. And by the way, I want to address a few things here. Talking Toei, maybe we can work it out where we get on something together. But I need What's-Her-Face's help with that to figure out how to do that with our PS4. And Mad Hawk, glad to have you back with us after your 2.5 year not being with us. I forget that's what's it called when somebody leaves for a long time and comes back?
Hiatus.
It's better than a fucking off divorce.
Deportation?
Okay, go on, Ed.
Okay, Tim, you said second level. That's called what exactly? And how's it different from the first level?
You broke up there, Ed.
I'm sorry. You said you've gotten your second level. How's that different from the first level? What is that exactly?
That's just the second level. It allows you to go. I think the first level is 90 feet. The second level is 120 depth-wise. If you're going on a dive boat or something like that, it's just different levels. And then after that, it starts doing things like wreck diving, cave diving, and then another one you do is subtly oxygen mix diving, where you're actually not just using compressed air, you're using an oxygen mixture. That's just a bunch of different levels there.
Is that cool little tank like the SEALs use? Sorry.
Yeah, pretty much. Actually, the tank it's two ways to do it. You can put it all mixed into one tank, or you can add a second tank onto your regulator and stuff and feed it in there with it. But when you get the oxygen mixture diving, you have to have that means you want to go even deeper than 120 feet, and usually have decompression levels. You have to stop on the way up and spend more time underwater decompressing before you can come all the way to the surface.
Andrew, you want to read that comment from Ian?
Oh, I'm responding. I'm typing to it. You want me to read it?
Yeah, read it. That applies to what he was just talking about.
Okay. Ian says, I watched an episode of Addictive Fishing where they used electric reels to bring snapper up from 900 feet real quick, and their eyes were popping. Looked like Marty Feldman.
Yeah, that's what could happen if you come up.
Marty Fishman. By the way, Mamina is at the top of our cheering trio here. Devnall in second place and Desmond in third. I do want to point out for folks, If you go look below the video screen now, you'll see the schedule of all the new days. You'll see the weekly reminder newsletter that you can go to. You'll also see something called wish lists. I have posted a wish list for everybody that's giving me one. Elizabeth, yours isn't up there yet because I didn't get it till today when I was already beyond the time where I could do other stuff. But I will add it either tonight or tomorrow, so it'll be on there. And Kevin has been fucking off and haven't given a shit.
Oh, I just want to say, as far as the wish list, don't tell Elizabeth, but her birthday's this month, and you can send her a gift.
And Andrea's is
Once her wish
also
list is up.
this month. And I have encouraged everybody to put little cheap-ass things in there, as well as multiple hundreds of dollars of things. So there should be a range depending on how much you like them. Other than that, there's the Patreon. You can buy my books. It has a list of our top toasters, who Devnall is still #1 of all time. With Mamina second, Dropsum third, Navy Dad.
He hasn't been around for a while.
No, he hasn't. He
He must be working.
a couple weeks ago, yeah. Andrea, you're still at #6, and Skipper is just ahead of you at #5. I think that's all we got to talk about down there. The rest is just the same shit that's been down there. So anyhow, so real quick, out of the things we have for going down, we've discussed scuba a little bit, and we might come back to that in a moment. Has anybody ever done skydiving? None of us.
No,
No, but I really want to. It's just expensive.
I haven't, but I'd like to get Talk of the Tavern involved in this, because this is a long-running bone of contention between my wife and I.
Okay.
Now, I very much want to skydive. I have lots of friends who've done it. I'm really drawn to the idea of it as an experience, but my wife will not let me skydive because she is too paranoid about the risks. Now, I've pointed out to her that statistically there's about as much chance of me being hit by a bus on the way to work in the morning as there is something going wrong with my skydive in terms
Especially
of the
those
number
double
of...
deckers. We've seen how they drive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, especially when you consider that they're not chucking me out of a plane with a parachute on my first time. It's a tandem dive. I'm going to be strapped to some guy. He's in control. I'm essentially a big weight along for the ride.
Real quick, if I may interrupt. Hey, Robin.
Yeah.
Good to see Fraser pop in.
Hey, Robin.
Devnall,
Hey, baby.
thank you. Here's you, bud.
So what I want to know tonight anyway is, what does everyone else think? If your partner, if your significant other, brother, mother, whatever, came to you and went, I want to skydive, would you be for it or against it? And for what reasons? Because I
I'd
want to
say I
turn
wanna
around
go
to my
with
wife
you.
and go, look, everyone else agrees with me. I should fall out of a plane.
No, I say, sure, I want to go too.
Yeah.
I will not bungee jump, but I will jump out of a plane with a parachute.
Or I bungee jumped. It's not as bad as you think.
I just,
The worst thing about bungee jumping, and if anyone's done this, I don't have to agree with me, is that the first 30 or 40 seconds when you first jump, that's pure adrenaline. And then afterwards, you're just bouncing up and down for ages before you can get off. You're like, I'm done with this now. Come on.
It's like
I want
sex.
another go, or I want to go and have a beer.
Sounds like a sex life.
Yeah.
Pure adrenaline followed by just bouncing up and down, waiting to get off. Yep.
well, there's
My,
a place out here that does skydiving classes
Yeah.
and everything.
Elizabeth, what do you think? Should your other half let you do something like that, or should they stand up to you and say nope?
Well, my grandfather flew for SAC, after he retired from the Air Force, he flew planes for sky jumpers out in Phoenix and the area, and they never had an accident. And yes, Travis, they did do naked skydiving, and I've seen the pictures. Just never took a video.
Everything's flapping.
And they loved it. And if you can find a reputable place that has a good reputation and follows the safety rules, then I think you should go for it. Make sure your life insurance is.
Ed, what's your thought?
I was in the service, had the chance to go to airborne school. It wasn't something that ever really appealed to me. Now, rappelling, yes, any day of the week, every day of the week, night or day, love it. But skydiving is just something that never really appealed to me. If you want to do it, sure, go ahead, go for it. But not for me.
Tim, got a thought on this?
I'm with Ed. If you want to do it, go for it. But I'm not going to jump on a perfectly plane.
Here's my thing. Let me relate it to something else. If your spouse told you you couldn't get a motorcycle, you weren't allowed to go swimming with the sharks, you weren't allowed to go hike the Appalachian Trail for 3 weeks by yourself, or anything that could be dangerous to your life and limb, you then have to measure how much you want this versus how pissed off they're going to be if you actually do it. Because
There's a reason why I married Teresa.
Right. Elizabeth?
I'm not married, and at this point, I'm not. I don't have a significant other besides the Lord Almighty. But my parents never let the other one do something. It wasn't it wasn't like a permission relationship. They would talk things about it, and they agreed on things. I think if you're in a relationship where someone's letting you do something, I think you need to question the status of the relationship.
See, I can understand that too. And from my point of view, if Andrea's like, I want to go do something dangerous that you don't want to do, I'd be like, well, I hope you come back. I'm absolutely not going to deny you that. On the other hand, if my other half is telling me I can't go do something because they're terrified I won't come back, then I will take that concern, and because they're doing it not to piss me off and take something away, because they don't want to lose me, and I have to understand that too. That means I don't have a great answer for you, Kevin, besides consider how much shit you're going to be in if you do it.
Well,
I think the greatest answer of the night has to go to Devnol, who commented a minute ago, who said, "Don't do it, Kev. Every other month there's a skydiving accident reported in the news, big skydiving area near Tampa. Then again, go for it."
Well, barter with your wife. There's got to be something that she wants to do that you don't want her to do. So to say, if you give me this, I'll give you that.
JDM said skydiving was easier to convince his family about than jousting.
Did you see the ladies' opinions up top? The ladies, talking Tally and Lady Skipper, are all like, how much life insurance do you have? And is it up to date?
Just deal with the practical first of all. If you snuff it, how am I going to get money?
And Mom and all says, don't do it. So, there you go. We got all kinds of opinions. I really don't think you're better off than when you first asked it.
No. Thanks for that, guys. You're glad I asked.
Well, that'll learn you.
Gosh damn. I would have got away with it if it weren't for them pesky kids.
I can give you the great advice that we always hate. Well, do what you want. Well, no, fuck, I'm going to do what I want. That's life. I just want to hear somebody else's logic. So let's see. What else do we have? We have skydiving, bungee jumping, and I want to look at all these different aspects. And first, just kind of a show of hands of what each of us have done. I've gone snorkeling. Never scuba, never skydive, never bungee jumping.
I will not do that shit.
I've done the drop tower at theme parks. And to me, that's like bungee jumping without the bounce at the bottom, and I hate that fucking falling sensation. So I'm not bungee jumping, but I'll skydive. What else do we have in the...
I think the only thing I'd like to do is the rappelling.
I'd like to rappel.
Ed said, that's pretty cool.
It's a rush.
Anything else, you have no control over. Rappelling, you'd have control over. Scuba diving, you have control over.
That's true.
What do you rappel off of, Ed?
I, of course, in the military, rappelled out of helicopters, and nothing for me is a bigger rush than a night rappel because you don't really know where the ground is. So you just come out the bird, you're letting your arm hang, and it's like, I might be getting close. Let me break.
It's crazy.
Good times. You know what I rappel
How
off
many
of?
people broke their ankle at night? How many people broke their ankle at night rappelling in the dark?
None, actually. They do drop chem lights before you come out. But still, the depth perception is a little off. But while I was in, none.
If I can interrupt
now, I have
quick.
seen... Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. Tempe, I'm not calling you out on purpose. I'm calling out because I love you. And we thanked you earlier for your help with the Kickstarter. Good to see you joining in, Tempe. Glad to have you amongst us. You don't have to say a word unless you decide you want to. And by the way, she's got... Not only is she adorable, but she's got great products, the bags, and all the other stuff that she makes. As I said earlier, I'll be reviewing your website and getting it out there for you soon. Okay, sorry, Ed. Thank you.
Real quick though, what I was going to say, I have seen jumpers hit the ground.
Ugh.
82nd Airborne guys, because you're doing a combat jump, you're 400 feet or less. You don't have time to deploy a secondary chute, so it's your main or nothing. And I have seen 2 guys hit the ground. It's not a pretty sight.
Ooh.
They left quite an impression.
But yeah.
Oh, that's another thing. Mamina says, I bungee jumped, rip lined down and downhill skiing, and they all did not end well. I wouldn't mind doing a zip line. Andrea and I actually have that planned because there's places here in Virginia that we could do it.
Yeah, Shenandoah River State Park, dude, right by me. We can go camping and everything.
Okay.
And there's a place in Williamsburg that does it too.
I wouldn't mind going out there because of on the mountains, zip lining down mountains. Woo!
Well, the Harper's Ferry's got them too.
I know there's like 3 to 5 places, I can't. I've seen quite a few places here in Virginia. So
This will happen.
There's one thing I regret not doing when we were on our honeymoon. We almost did it. In fact, 2 different days. We very nearly did it, but
doggy style.
decided on that. Let's not get into the finer details of my honeymoon. We'll save that for the 3rd hour. But no, when we were in Algeciras in Jamaica, and they have a place right nearby Duns River Falls, which was near us, where you can do the whole bridges, zip lines, and wire transfers through the treetop canopy. And we nearly did it twice, but had other activities instead.
By the way, Dad, I would love to go up in a hot air balloon also.
Oh, yeah. Is there a place around that does that? That would be awesome.
They do that
Hey,
here on the island. I've done that a few times. I love it, by the way. It's awesome. It's incredibly noisy, though. You kind of get, if you've ever seen video of them going up, you get the impression that it's going to be noisy when the burner goes on, but it literally is to the point where you can't hear anything else but it.
Andrea?
it's almost 9. I need a break.
Okay, in about 4
Same
minutes,
here.
we're going to take a break. By the way, guys, another reason I need Madame Gandalf is because she, when she takes her breaks, puts up a video that plays while she's gone, and I want to learn how to do that. That way you have something to stare at besides empty chairs or one of us talking to you and trying to keep you entertained for 3 minutes while everybody else empties a bottle and refills a cup. Talking Toey says, not hot air ballooning. I won't even cook on a gas stove. And Ian has talked about he likes rappelling. A lot of people find me repelling. Matter of fact, there was a band that decided they couldn't come on the show because they were repelled by me.
Yeah.
True story.
They're lost.
It's
They're
well,
lost.
all they said is I'm a bit too we're a bit too controversial, and I'm like, okay. So
Tim, real quick question about scuba diving. Do you have to know how to swim?
Interesting.
I've seen people take classes that didn't know how to swim. Once you get underwater, all you do is kick your feet. They teach you not to use your hands to swim. So
Oh, really?
you just kick your feet, and you use a buoyancy compensator so you can come to the top just by inflating that. So yeah, people that don't know how to swim can learn to scuba dive.
Okay.
But there is a part in the test where you have to at least go out and float or tread water for 10 minutes without a BC or something on. So
Okay.
it always helps to be able to swim. But I've seen people start the class not knowing how to swim. By the time they're done, they're comfortable.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Tell you what, we'll take a break right now because just in case Tempe is still listening and can't type, I'm going to walk through that real quick. So everybody, if you need a break, mute yourselves, run away, and be back in time for
Run away!
Tempe, in case you can't type, a few things. First of all, you have to follow the channel. So just above where the video screen is, you should see a follow button that you can click. That should allow you to type. You also, well, Gene, you have a great night. Thank you for popping in. I appreciate that. And will you be going to the New Jersey thing that's going to be happening? Because we're going to be talking about that on Thursday's show. VIP, we're going to have them on. What is that? Oh, I do not need those. Thank you, though. Skipper, she was bringing me candy, but I'm trying not to eat anything that I don't need to. But Tempe, after you follow, also make sure when you sign up, verify your email address. You get an email, you have to click on that respond thing, otherwise it's not going to let you, again, talk on channels. Now, on the other hand, if you're just not talking because you don't want to, then no big deal. This is for everybody else besides you then. Subscribing to the channel, if you have Amazon Prime, you can subscribe for free, which throws a couple dollars our way without taking any money out of your pocket, and we do appreciate that. And yeah, Mad Hawk, I see that you'll be in Virginia in June. What part of Virginia are you going to be in? We are in Central Virginia, about an hour away from Richmond and Fredericksburg and Gloucester and Williamsburg. We are in the middle of nowhere. If you took all the main cities and drew a line to nowhere, that's where we live. So I know there's in June. Norfolk, oh, we know where Norfolk is. It's about a 2-hour drive with traffic. Middle of the night, about an hour and a half. So not too bad. What are you going to be doing down there? Kevin, did you make yourself some coffee, man?
Sorry, I was muted. Fuck no, I grabbed another beer.
Okay, well, as long as you're happy, man, that's all I'm worried about.
I am. Big shout. By the way, talking about we could do with sponsors for the show, big shout out to tonight's sponsor of my semi-drunkenness, Stella Artois.
You know, I don't know if I've ever had one. How are they?
It's okay. It's described as a premium lager. I wouldn't go that far, but it's quite a smooth, crisp sort of taste. It's quite clean, fairly pale for a lager.
Okay. I tell you what, I had...
It's a relatively decent percentage, which earns it its British nickname, which is, for those of you who don't know, it's referred to as Old Wife Beater. What is it? Oh, it's a 4.8.
See, and that's a controversial part of the show that some people don't like.
It's just a euphemism. I don't agree with it.
I have your favorite Virginia lager in the fridge right now. I got some Devil's Backbone in there.
Nice.
Yeah, I went to the bulk store, BJ's, and I was looking at the beers. Yeah, I know. It's like, great, isn't it? I love telling people I went to the BJ's store.
I like the fact that you can get bulk BJ's.
We gotta have a lot to give before you can get a lot. So, yeah. And by the way, Devnall did reply also to the question of do you have to swim, saying no, but it's helpful.
Tis.
So.
Although, conversely, if you are a very good swimmer, I found it's actually a bit weird to start with because the way you use your legs when you're wearing flippers or fins or however you want to describe it is quite different to how you have a natural instinct to kick when you're swimming.
Especially if you're
You are correct. It's a whole different way to kick your feet versus fins, no fins.
Because you have this tendency to try and do this, kick rapidly with your feet because normally you need that to create enough propulsion to stop you sinking. But the buoyancy is not an issue, and therefore you look at. Correct me if I'm wrong here. You're the expert, but it's much more longer, slower strokes.
You glide.
Wider kick. Yeah.
You basically kick from the hip versus the knee.
It's like skating instead of walking.
Okay.
It's a slightly different movement and different muscle group. Devnall just made some Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee. I haven't tried that either.
Mm-hmm. Blue Mountain is gorgeous.
Nice.
Especially if it's bought from the Blue Mountain plantation where it's about as fresh as it can get. It's lovely. The Blue Mountain is right up in the mountainous central region of Jamaica. The climate up there is perfect for growing coffee, and the quality of it is exceptional. The great thing about that is that pretty much every hotel on Jamaica stocks Blue Mountain as their standard house coffee.
Nice. Do you go to Jamaica often?
I've only been the once, sadly, although we do plan to return because it's one of the few places. Em and I have this philosophy about holidays where we've never understood people who go to the same place every year. if we go on a holiday, we want a new experience each time. We want to travel. We want to see the world as much as we can. But we did say the moment, well, not so much the moment we landed, but before we were only a few days into our trip, we were like, we definitely need to come back because we're here 2 weeks and this is not going to be long enough. We want to see much more of this place. So a return trip or two is definitely on the cards.
Very good. I want to remind everybody that you are more than welcome to try to fill that cup to overflowing. Hey, thank you for following, Tempe. Appreciate that. Here's to you for joining us.
Cheers.
It's a great show to do your crafting too. Mm-hmm.
I am now going to enjoy a Tatiana. Groovy Blue.
And I'm going to play This Week to History intro. So here's this music. We'll just talk right over it. Very British.
This week in history.
So,
Kevin
Ed,
stands at attention. Yeah.
what happened this week in history?
This week in history, shit happened, y'all.
Woohoo!
April 4th, 1933. What goes up must come down. The airship Akron, a dirigible assigned to the U.S. Navy, crashes in the Atlantic Ocean, killing 73 of the 76 crew members on board.
Tempe,
At the
you're
time
in,
of the
baby.
crash...
Sorry, Tempe.
Huh?
Tempe asked if she's in. I want to immediately assure her, yep, you're in. We can see you.
There you are, darling. Yeah, you're here. At the time of the crash, it was the worst air disaster in U.S. history.
Now, what year was that?
April 4th, 1933.
1933. So how many air tragedies had there been before that?
There was another airship that had crashed, I think, like 2 years before then, that it killed like 14 people or something like that.
Was that the one in Norfolk? Or not Norfolk, Hampton, I think.
I'm not really sure. I saw it while I was researching this one today.
Good enough. And when was Hindenburg? That was in the late 30s, wasn't it?
That was in the 30s also. That was just prior to World War II. I want to say 39, 36 to 39, somewhere in there. Yeah.
And by the way, Tempe, this is a great show to put on in the background while you're making your stuff. And if you're at home during the day making stuff, join us for the other ones too. This is our down and dirty show, though. This is one where we get the naughtiest and say the most stupid shit.
But mostly in the third hour.
Yes. So, okay, what else happened this week?
April 5th, 1792, Washington uses the right to veto for the first time. A bill introduced a plan for dividing seats in Congress that would have doubled the amount of representatives from northern states. Thomas Jefferson gave his counsel to Washington, advising him to veto it. Washington was reluctant to do so because he did not want to appear partial to southern states, being from Virginia and all.
But if he did do that, he would have appeared partial to the northern states.
If he had let it go. The vote was pretty much divided between northern and southern states in the passing of the bill. Washington gave in to Jefferson. He vetoed the bill, and Congress would go on to the representative for 30,000 people, 300,000 people, whatever the hell it was they passed originally. But, interesting enough, during his 2 terms in office, Washington only used the veto 2 times.
Any idea what the second time was for?
Cutting the amount of cavalry in the military.
Okay. You're in a hotel room. So, what are you doing in a hotel room? Is there a con? What day is today? Monday. Oh, I don't know. We'll find out. Okay, what else?
She's doing what you do in hotel rooms. Jeez.
Charging by the hour? I thought you said what I do. Anyhow, what else happened this week in his spring break?
Spring. Where you at? Florida? Can we come down and do some scuba diving? Or diving of some other kind?
Kevin, that's what I was going to say. Next time you plan a trip, if it's someplace like Jamaica or somewhere in the Caribbean or even like Iceland or Greenland, let us know, because there's always a chance we can meet you there.
Yeah.
With enough time to plan and budget.
Especially if it's Iceland.
You've got 2 years before our next big holiday if you want to come to Victoria Falls.
Ooh.
Where is that?
Is Africa.
Africa.
Oh.
We're both going to cross something off our bucket list, which is to have our photograph taken in what they call the Devil's Pool, which is the shallow basin you can get into and sit with your back with a rock wall behind you, and literally the other side of it is the full drop over the edge of the falls. So if you've got the balls, you can actually look all the way over the drop. So,
that's safer than skydiving.
yeah, the place we're planning on going to is located quite close to the falls, so we've got access to the falls if we want it, but also obviously we can then go off and do like day safaris and stuff from there as well.
Nice.
That's the plan.
Okay, Ed, what else we got?
Okay, in pop culture this week, 35 years ago this week, the Cadbury Cream Egg commercial first appeared featuring the Clucking Bunny.
Hey, here's the skipper because of Easter basket.
19 years ago this week, The Matrix first premiered in theaters.
Wow.
Let me interrupt here. And it might apply to some of the other stuff you're going to say. We saw a double feature at the drive-in this weekend. It was Ready Player One and Tomb Raider.
Oh, cool.
Ready Player One, chock full of nostalgia. People are like, they're Easter eggs. No, this thing is littered. If they were Easter eggs, the whole movie is an Easter egg. Just really, really fun. Tomb Raider, by the way, predictable, slow.
It was okay.
It was okay, but it's not something I'm going to go, oh, I need a copy of that. So
it was a matinee.
Yeah,
Tomb
or
Raider.
red box at best.
So would you say Ready Player One is worth seeing?
Yes, it's worth seeing in the theater. It's worth owning.
I didn't know what it was before we went. I'm like, oh, it's about a video game, whatever. I want to go to the drive-in. It was really good. I stayed awake for it.
Oh.
And I don't stay awake for movies.
Am I still here?
Yeah, you're here.
You're
Okay,
here.
because I froze big time. Okay, all right. 30 years ago this week, Beetlejuice first premiered in theaters.
He's in Ready Player One.
Oh, cool. 34 years ago this week, Run DMC released their self-titled album, Run DMC.
They are not. But there's a lot of 80s.
In Ready Player One?
Yeah, but there's a lot of 80s.
And we had a reference to this earlier tonight, 26 years ago this week. White Men Can't Jump premiered in theaters.
That's why I made the reference. What else we got?
Current events, weird news. Anybody got anything?
I've been so busy the past week, I didn't get anything for that.
I'm posting on Twitter and Instagram right now for the show, so. No.
Anybody else got any current events? Anything go on this week?
I got something weird. I don't know. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, go ahead. What?
Never mind.
What?
No.
Other than your picture?
Did you like it?
Oh, yeah.
I sent that to my friend's birthday today. Oh, I got a shout out, but we're not doing birthdays yet.
Get there in just a second, though.
Tease.
Okay, anybody else? Tim, you got any weird news or current events that are going on that you want to talk about?
No. I don't watch the news or current events. I'm in my own little world.
I do want to elaborate on what Tim just said. Okay, as you all know, I had the flu last week, something awful. And thank you to everyone that did send me messages on the side. Really, really appreciated that. But having the flu, I stayed off of social media. And traveling this week, I pretty much stayed off of social media too. God, I feel so much better.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on in the world. I haven't looked at news. Nothing. I feel so much better. Ignorance is truly bliss.
Yes.
And
Welcome aboard.
And that refers back to earlier where I'm stripping down my Facebook. If I unfriended you and you want to see my stupid shit, friend me again. But I'm stripping it down. I'm not going to be looking at the wall. I'm going to use it to post for the show. That's pretty much it.
I do have something fun. I watched again. I just for some reason really dig this movie. It's called Edge of Tomorrow, and it's with Tom Cruise. And
that was actually
it's kind of
a decent movie.
Oh yeah, Yeah, that was a good movie.
I really want to read that screenplay. Kind of Groundhog Day mashed up with a science fiction movie, and
Yeah.
I loved it. I love it every time. I can't get enough of it. I don't know why. It just tickles me. Especially when she keeps killing him.
Yeah.
He keeps breaking it. It's just broken. I'm okay. Okay. Yeah.
Thanks. Spoilers. And by the way, here's you, Skipper. Thank you, buddy. I love your variety of bits that you tossed. Is the cup full yet? Did they overflow the cup so it splashes?
Not quite, but it's
Almost
getting
there.
there.
Halfway. Okay. It's fun when it overflows. You should see it happen. But is that a cheap way for me to get bits by saying shit like that?
Yeah,
Okay.
Maybe.
Whatever.
I don't know.
but go for it.
Okay. What
Okay,
else?
moving on.
Moving on.
I see
Moving
dead
on
people. April 1st, American TV producer and writer Stephen Bacco. Bacco brought us hit TV series such as NYPD Blue, Hill Street Blues, and LA Law.
And that was yesterday, right?
April 1st, yeah, yesterday.
Okay. See, I wonder how far behind him like Stephen Cannell is, who brought us A-Team and a bunch of those.
A-Team and yeah.
He can't be too far away also.
Okay, birthdays. April 2nd, 1914, actor Sir Alec Guinness, the original Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, baby. Oh, we just got the DVD of Last Jedi and rewatched that, so.
I rewatched it. I liked it better than I saw it in the theater.
Okay.
I'm going to watch it again, see if I warm up a little bit more.
See,
Yeah.
I just don't go in with huge expectations, and all in all, I just enjoyed it. The second time I dozed off, as the third act is beginning. Woke up 10 minutes later, enjoyed the rest of the movie.
April 2nd, 1939, R&B legend Marvin Gaye,
Nice.
who also was killed by his father this same week. I don't remember how many years ago, but just prior to his birthday, his father murdered him. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. His father was a minister, and it was an argument about his sinful ways. And yeah.
Could have just showed him the
Wow.
raisin commercials.
Yeah. Heard it through the grapevine.
Yeah, that's a icon of
Yeah.
social people things.
Yeah.
Cultural icon. That's what I was looking for.
There you go. April 3rd, 1961, actor comedian Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, he did entertain us a bit now and then. I still like Golden Child.
Yeah. I still think his best role is playing a jackass, so.
Oh, no, I have to agree with you. So much. I recently, like a month or two ago, rewatched Mulan and realized, wow, there's a reason I had only seen it one time. I like the soundtrack. The movie itself, kind of crap.
Yeah.
We will skip over here as well. Coming to America, what a movie that was.
I kind of enjoyed it because
I like that movie.
Was a hooker.
The royal penis is clean, Your Highness.
But yeah, I think his best movies are his first couple big ones: 48 Hours,
48
Trading
Hours.
Places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The original the first Beverly Hills Cop.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. And those three are probably the best of the bunch, barring Shrek.
See, I was that kind of age where I grew up and I found Eddie Murphy through movies, and it wasn't until a few years later that I ever discovered that he'd done his stand-up comedy before he was in movies.
Right.
Man, that's a funny guy.
Yeah. Who else, bud?
April 4th, 1913, blues legend Muddy Waters.
Hell yeah.
April 4th, 1965, I Am Iron Man, actor Robert Downey Jr.
Wow.
Well, I didn't realize he was that close to my age.
Yeah, it made me feel good to realize he was that close to my age.
Yeah. Who else you got?
April 6, 1937, actor Billy D. Williams, known as Lando Calrissian to those Star Wars geeks out there.
Colt 45.
Now.
Get you every time.
He actually-
Yeah.
On the Star Wars Rebels, he does the voice for Lando on that still.
Does
And
he?
He does.
Ah,
Oh,
nice.
cool.
And in the new movies, Finn when they first released the toys, when the first of the new trilogy came out, Finn was listed as Finn Calrissian. And they recalled those toys.
They recalled those, yeah.
So I'm still waiting to see if that's a reveal sometime in this trilogy that he's related to Londo, because it might have been too much of a tie-in and got kind of cheesy, or it might be waiting to let us know that that's where he came from.
Yeah. April 7th, 1954, actor Jackie Chan.
Nice. A favorite. Which, by the way, has anybody else realized that the only living character, besides the droids and the Wookiee, in the Star Wars movies is Princess Leia, where the actress is actually dead?
That's true.
The only living human character from the original release trilogy is the one that has a dead actress.
Well,
what else you got, Ed?
Personal birthday shout-outs. Today, my nephew, Ellis Mac Fry. Later this week, the most lovely Charlotte Sewell, a friend of both Travis and I. And schoolmate Denise Shore. Happy birthday, everybody.
Now, who was it that said they had a birthday or two to shout out there? Elizabeth, go.
I got one.
What do you got?
All right, Kelly Girls, my southern girl, Kelly Grissom Rogers. It's happy birthday. I know you got my card, and I'll see you soon.
Kevin, Tim, you got anybody?
Yeah, I got one. I'd like to shout out my friend Ross Morris, who is known to all of us as the Admiral, because he works on the local chain link ferry. Ross, happy birthday, mate.
Now, for me, I have Matthew Victor Rogers, which is Victor of Victor and the Bully, who might be showing up on the show Thursday, as well as Stuart Cedrus, a cigar buddy out of Fredericksburg, and then Shelley Buckland from Vandalia Con in West Virginia. So happy birthday to everybody. Here's to you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Who threw their bits? Who did that?
Who's got their bits out when we're not looking?
It was Andrea.
I threw them just because I
She
can.
threw some bits out there.
Mm-hmm.
Bad girl.
You know,
What you gonna do when shows a bits at you?
Ian says, I was introduced to sounds of muddy water by a metal friend. Takes all kinds to make the world go round. I have
Indeed.
found
Yeah.
a lot of people who like metal also like strong symphony music, as well as, you know, there's a variety of tie-ins where you wouldn't think there would be between different genres of music. So if you are a one genre type, I encourage you to go experience some of the others. And if you've experienced them and still only like one type, okay, fair enough.
I was, funny enough, and I'll say it on air now, rather than because I was just typing a response to that comment, but you'll find that a lot with metal fans, especially. Because if you look at the way chord progressions in heavy metal music and blues music, where you're talking about, exactly, you're looking at a lot of the same chord progressions, a lot of the same tricks, a lot of the same soloing techniques with string bends and that kind of thing. The only difference is in metal, you're applying distortion to the sound and maybe dropping the tune into a heavier sound. But there's a lot of parallels between the two. So you do quite often find guys who are, you know, throwing themselves around in a mosh pit 1 minute and then they're going home and listening to Howlin' Wolf to chill out. So. He said, describing himself.
Yeah, well, I like different musics for different moods. You know, depending what I'm doing and what I want to invoke. There's different sounds I want.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, shall we?
My wife. Oh, sorry, just on that topic. My wife says you can tell what kind of day I've had by what kind of music I put on when I come in.
There you go.
You can literally read.
Same here. Yeah.
And it's not necessarily a direct correlation. Like if I had a shitty day and I'm angry, I don't necessarily come in and play metal, for example. I'll do that if I'm in a good mood. If I'm in a bad mood, I have a tendency to play hippie chill out music and stuff, for lack of a better description.
To change your direction. And thank you to Des for salting the bit jar. Here's
He salted it.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, just catching up on the joke there.
Yeah. We're 3/4 away full. I bet you before the end of the show we could overflow that cup. I bet you. And he sent
I
them
just
all
think
out
it's
at
funny.
once, so you get a bunch of in once. That's a good way to
Just
do it.
post a photograph of my wife if you want to see what it looks like when your cup overflows.
Okay, Ed, what else we got? What I guess getting back.
Sorry, I just want to state
That was it.
That's not a direct offer to post photographs of my wife, unless, of course, you want to make a bit contribution, in which case we can haggle.
Don't say hag when you talk about your wife. That's wrong.
I'm trying to see what she's drawn in the corner there.
Do you want me to make her big? Oh, she's hiding it.
She's hiding it.
It's just John, man. It's just John.
Hey, here's your extravaganza. Thanks for joining you. Appreciate that. Here's to you.
Hey, yeah, I'll drink to that and everything else.
I'm almost empty.
Thank you, Ed. I know it's you guys are going to get us drunk just by us toasting you. So,
It'd take a lot to get me drunk. This is tea.
but you'll make a run to the head soon. So let's see here. We've talked about rappelling and zip lining and scuba diving and parachuting. And is there any other kind of going down we're going to talk about before the third hour?
Yes.
Monkey.
Yeah, her.
But
Look at her shirt.
Anybody ever do any case?
Underwater hockey.
Oh yeah.
Underwater hockey. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you the most magnificent sport ever created. Underwater hockey. Underwater, you say? Yes. Why? Because ice hockey was too easy. We decided to melt the green, fill it with water, and play in the bottom of the pool.
why does it look like you got a banana you peeled in your hand?
This is your stick. And then you have this huge glove. That's all textured for her pleasure. And, the puck is 3 pounds, and it rests on the bottom of the pool. 3 pounds. A normal hockey puck is only 1 pound. 3 pounds. You run your hand along the bottom with the puck, and you do all these fancy things. And you can flick it off the ground over someone or to your partners. There's 6-on-6 people. No goalie. There's little troughs. And you have to learn how to communicate non-verbally and how to hold your breath as long as humanly possible. And aerobic exercise. Go check it out online. It's like watching hammerheads go after little crabs. It's incredible.
So Kevin had a question.
It's like snorkeling? You don't have an air tank?
Yeah, it's snorkeling. Yeah, this is
okay.
you wear like water polo hats and
Very tight
I get-
shirts. I saw the picture.
I get to swim with half naked men.
Hey, Devin, I'll see you.
Cheers, Dad.
Underwater.
And Des says autoerotic asphyxiation. That is one way to go down. And thank you to Devin.
on the bottom of a pile of men, it's starting to get darker and darker. It's a beautiful thing.
Devnall threw 69 bids at you for that.
But if you ever want to get in really amazing shape, go out. There's Clubs International. It's all over the world. In Europe, or especially Britain, they call it Octopus. Octopus. It was developed. Yeah. See, it was developed by a scuba instructor. Actually, he wanted to have something in the off season to keep his students busy, and he started developing this game. And it's all over the world. Join a club. You can go out. They'll always have equipment. They welcome new people. It's a great, great sport. People play into their late 70s.
Oh, wow.
Now, how good
And
are
then
you at clearing a snorkel? Because every time I try to clear a snorkel, there's always a little bit left that I get to breathe into my lungs.
Okay. I'm going to answer that, and this is going to get sexual very quickly. But
Sweet.
I have what they call it just a tube. See, that's my finger. It's huge. It's bigger than a normal one.
Okay.
See? Okay. The diameter is larger because you're going to need every square centimeter breath you can. It's very easy to clear the tube. The problem is you're trying to clear it when you're out of air, and you can't.
Good point.
But you can hold your breath longer than you think you can.
There's another type of snorkel that has a trap at the bottom, so you don't have to blow it all the way up the tube. It comes out the bottom that I use for scuba diving.
Yeah.
It doesn't take so much to clear.
Okay, one moment. Technical difficulties.
Okay.
I have more luck just with the tube, but I'm not scuba diving. You know, I'm trying to grab air and then get back down 8 feet down as quickly as possible. I don't know. I just have always been very comfortable in the water. So I'm not fast, but I can, in an emergency, become a flotation device.
Ed?
Okay, another quick question for Tim. Just thought of it. That's why I'm going back to that. I want to scuba dive. I want to own all my stuff. How much?
I don't know. It's been a long time since I bought all my stuff. I bought it in the 80s, and depending on what you want, and it could add up to a couple of $1,000.
Okay.
Last time I looked. Because if you dive in warm water, then you don't need a wetsuit, so that's one less thing. But your BC and your tank, if you want to do tanks and all that stuff, and your regulator, it all gets pretty expensive. But I found, don't invest in a tank, because those need to be hydroed every so many years, which costs you more money. It's easier just to rent a tank, and if you go and fly somewhere, you can't take a tank with you anyways. So
Okay.
all you need is like your regulator and your BC and a mask and fins.
Now,
And that's enough to get you in the water.
What's a BC?
Buoyancy compensator.
Compensator. All right.
You have
It's
two on the
basically a
front.
life vest that's filled off your air tank.
No, it's
And
my
you can
ass.
Control your, yeah.
Okay.
You feel
And
your
don't you have a
attitude.
weight belt too?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. You put all this stuff on your back so you can breathe, and then you need to put a weight belt on so you can get underwater. Because with all that stuff on your back, it's all got buoyancy to it, so you have to put a weight belt on to get you underwater.
Of course.
That's why the snorkeling is easier, because all you do is just hold your breath and dive under and swim.
Yeah.
But
The first time I tried scuba diving, they had incredible problems getting the weight right on me because I've got quite a big lung capacity. So they kind of calculated how much weight they thought I was going to need. And then every time I went down, when I drew in a big breath, you instantly start to float towards the surface. So, and it took them quite a while to get enough weight on me to stop me from doing that.
Real quick, Tracy, have a
Yeah.
great night. Thanks for joining us.
Good night,
Dorothalia,
Tracy.
Good night.
thanks for popping in.
Hi, Dora.
We were thanking you earlier for your help with the Kickstarter. Appreciate that.
Hi, Tracy.
Thank you.
And
Thank
Devnall,
you.
Devnall gives great advice. Rent first to see if you like it, and nowadays it's about $2,000 for decent gear. And of course, that can vary depending on
Yeah.
what you want to do, where you're going to go. But I'll say this: it's no different from kayaking or camping or golfing or going to Ren fairs. This is the cost of a hobby nowadays, depending how much you want to go into it.
Yeah.
So, but definitely explore.
That's
you
true.
could always rent your gear. The main components like the BC, the regulator, and the tank and all that, you can always rent that. If you want to just start slow, it's best to just get the mask and fins. And then, because that's the key things. You don't want to, one of the gross things about diving is when you go down under and you get the pressure on your nose, your nose is going to run and the mask is going to get all nasty. I don't know if you want to use somebody else's mask after they've nastied it up with the boogers and stuff.
Devnall's backing me up also, saying 2 years for the hydro on your tank. I sold mine and rent tanks when I go out. And Dora says cons and cosplay are easily that expensive. So yeah, it's just,
Oh, yeah.
what do you love?
Oh yeah,
What do you wanna do?
I spend probably twice that much in Ren
Right.
clothing and so
Yeah.
forth and so on. Yeah.
But that's over a period
Wait.
of time. You can start with a certain amount and then build.
That's funny you said that, Kevin, because it's lung capacity. It's also just, it's actually like your muscle structure and the density of every fiber as well that could fight you. Now, I am very buoyant, and I was joking around with my teammates, my nickname was Rising Moon because my butt is in the air, and I'm always, it's like I'm swimming in my ass here. But if I let all the air out of my lungs, all that oxygen, I do sink. But then you can't last very long. So yeah, it's a lot. But I had a buddy, he's a weightlifter, and you'd think, oh, he'd sink right to the bottom, but he didn't have that density of muscle mass. So he was a floater, and he was a Navy diver. He was unflushable. But he would say he had to put on a lot of weight on his belt to get down.
So you have
Yeah,
weight
it's
belt
different.
in the water hockey also?
No. No.
No? Okay.
No. You got to just go for it.
Okay.
And then all the skinny ones just float. They're like crabs. And then you meet them head to head, and you have the puck, and they have the puck, and they just sit there, and you're kicking to stay down. And then they look at you, and they can tell you're running out of air, and then they go.
I must be weird because I can either float or I can stay at the bottom. I have no problem doing either one.
Aquaman.
Yeah. I can float with my feet straight down with only moving my hands slightly. But I can also just dive to the bottom and sit at the bottom and watch people. So
is it body positioning you do to get down, or?
Yeah, I just simply do a dive and kick to the bottom, and then once you get down there, maybe let out a little bit of air, but
yeah,
then I can stay down for a long time.
I'm so jealous.
Ian asked, would it be financially sound to invest in a full face mask for snorkeling?
Have you tried those
I
full
don't
face
know.
masks?
Snorkeling or scuba diving?
It says snorkeling.
Okay.
He says snorkeling.
I've never tried a full face mask, so I don't know. Those are just came out in the last few years for scuba diving and snorkeling.
Nice.
I don't know. I was raised by a lifeguard. My father has he trains people in the military with water safety. I agree, though. If you can't swim, you shouldn't be in the water. You know, that's kind of how I feel. And I know those full masks are supposed to be, I don't know. I need to try one.
Devin all says, happy thoughts. I ordered the Bob Ross musical bobblehead earlier today. That is so awesome.
Awesome.
What music does it play?
Does it matter?
Happy class.
I think it does.
That's so.
So I'm just thinking. Well, no, I'm just thinking about the full face thing. I've never tried one. I've not dived a lot. I've got my first level PADI, open water. I think I'd find it a bit restrictive. One of the things that I found that I wasn't anticipating the first time I dived was with all the gear on, there's a certain restriction to what you'd class as normal movement. Now, I don't know whether that's just because I'm using like a bunch of rental gear that's not properly fitted to me or properly adjusted or whatever, but I think with a full face mask on as well, you need to be a lot more aware of your surroundings when you're underwater, because it can very quickly, if you don't, get disorientating. You know, you're used as a human to looking for landmarks to orient you, and when you don't have those underwater, it's like, well, which way exactly is up, you know? It's certainly when you're first starting to do it anyway. And I think having a full face mask, I think I'd probably find that a little bit restrictive in terms of like field of vision and stuff.
Well, even with the regular mask, your field of vision, your peripheral vision is gone.
Yeah.
So with a full face mask, I think it would be even worse. I think the only time I would want a full face mask was for like cold weather diving, cold water, trying to put on a dry suit and put on a full face mask with the dry suit.
Well, I got a question for Tim. You mentioned that a minute ago as well, like the difference in water temperature. Now, I've only ever dived when I've been away on holiday, so I've only ever dived in warm water. And I have friends who live here. I'm on the Isle of Wight, by the way, just off the south coast of England. So I have a few friends who dive locally here. And although they're pleased that I've tried diving, they also sort of kind of mock it a little bit and was like, yeah, I'd like to see you do the same thing you've done, but come and do it around in the water around here. So how significant is the difference in water temperature, and how does it affect you when you're diving?
Well, if you felt restricted in warm water, you'd feel even more that way in cold water, putting on a full wetsuit. Because I almost overheated one time. I was too far away from the water at this quarry, and I was trying to walk to the quarry with my tank and stuff on me in the middle of summertime, and I almost overheated. I had to drop the tank and just get in the water and get everything wet before I put the tank back on and went underwater because I started to overheat. If it's cold water, once you get in the water, is better, but it's tough. The cold water diving is a lot more restrictive than warm water. I enjoy the warm water. I've dived in the Keys and in the springs in Florida and stuff like that, and it's so much more enjoyable just to grab your BC and your mask and fins and jump in.
Ed.
Is there different certifications for freshwater diving and open water diving, saltwater diving?
No.
Okay.
What they call it open water diving if you're in anything that's other than a pool.
Okay.
Because the first thing they do is they teach you the stuff about taking the air, and then they throw you in a pool. And you have to do everything in the pool correctly before they even take it to you. Then they do a core or something like that, so it's a little more contained. But sometimes in the south, they might take you right in the ocean. But open water diving just means anything that's not in a man-made pool.
Okay.
With fresh water, salt water.
Here's to talking, Toey. Thanks for that cheer. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Toey.
Thanks, Toey.
We're close.
We're almost there.
Uh-huh. Andrea just
And I'm
threw
getting drunker.
5 or 7 at it, and they all bumped off of each other. And oh my goodness, look at that,
Yeah.
57 from Des there. Thank you, buddy. Here's to you.
Oh, wow.
Let's see. Oh, they're all missing. Oh.
Rum shots.
I like the salt. That's funny.
He's assaulting the jar.
Oh, one of Toey's robot heads made it in.
Ooh, ooh.
Oh,
I'm easily amused.
aren't we all?
Keep your pleasure simple. You'll always be happy.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed. Indeed. Oh.
So, I have a question. Is it harder to dive in salt water because of the salt?
What was the question? You broke up a little bit.
I'm sorry. Is it harder to dive in salt water?
Then you go back to this thing Kevin started talking about getting the weights adjusted correctly. It all depends on the gear you're wearing and the type of water you're in. Salt water, you need more weights because you're more buoyant in salt water.
Yeah, I only asked that because I know in Dead Sea it's mostly salt, so people have trouble not floating.
No, it's usually the other way around. Salt water, you float easier.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Had trouble
They
not
have,
floating.
yeah, they have trouble diving.
That-
They
That
float.
may also have been a factor with the problems I had, because my first diving experience, what a way to start, was in the Red Sea, a place called Tavern. It's quite salty around there, so
Yay, Elizabeth, they
buoyancy
went
is
in.
it's not an issue at all, really.
Yeah. What I like best about saltwater is that there's more things to see once you go under. Coral reefs, the fish are brighter, more colorful. Freshwater, their fish are all one color, and the rocks and stuff are all just basically gray or greenish type once you're underwater. You get on a coral reef, you see all the bright colors.
Nice.
I did not know that.
One of the reasons why I asked the question, the difference between saltwater and freshwater, was because when I was looking up statistics, I was looking up the longest dive, and they had two different listed. One was a Jerry Hall, who stayed down for 120 hours and 14 minutes in July of 2013 in freshwater. And then they listed the longest saltwater, which was 51 hours, and I can't remember who that dude was. And that's why I was wondering if there was a difference in the preparation and so forth and so on for
Now you
doing
can
that.
you can usually get deeper in saltwater than
Mhm.
freshwater, but I don't see what the major difference between the two records are.
Okay.
Couple comments here.
Just because it's saltwater.
Couple comments from Devnall saying another reason to live in Florida, mostly warm water, mostly always warm water. And also, Ed, do the basic open water course, see if you like it, then invest in good gear. He also says, no, due to the salt, you have to adjust your weights, which is reinforcing what Tim has said.
Oh, I've often thought about it off and on. Travis, as you know, I do everything outdoors, and
Yeah.
scuba is just about the only thing on my list I haven't done, and I've often thought about it off and on.
I first did it, Ed, not because I had a real desire to do it, but because I was away on holiday And when we went, for one reason or another, when we travelled to Egypt, there was a bit of unrest around Cairo, which is nowhere near where we were, but several countries had stopped international travel into Egypt for a couple of weeks at that time. So the place where we were staying was 3/4 empty because it's normally populated by those countries that weren't travelling. So a lot of the activities were either off or limited due to the very small numbers of people interested in doing them. And I kind of got to that point about 6 or 7 days into the holiday where I was like, I'm getting bored of going around the same town, and okay, we're eating different places, but I was getting restless. So I did it more for something to do, and I was actually pleasantly surprised by how much I enjoyed it. And I've done it again several times since because I enjoyed that first time so much. So it's definitely worth giving it a go. And I think Devnil's right. If you happen to be somewhere and they offer like an introduction to scuba diving course or something where you can give it a go, try it out. It may not be your thing, but I wasn't sure it was going to be my thing, and did it more just for something to fill a day on holiday.
If I can interrupt. A quick
Night, Tempe.
Night, Tempe. Thanks for coming in. We hope to see you again. And
Cheers.
Des, thanks for assaulting us again.
We need someone to start a bit war with him using a pepper icon.
Is there a
There
pepper
isn't
icon?
a pepper one, though.
The pepper our jar, if you know what I mean.
Do we need more?
We're close. We're like 4/5 of the way to full. There you go. Andrea throwing some.
To back up what Kevin was saying, that some places that you go to in the Caribbean and stuff, they have those intro to scuba diving lessons. You don't get your full PADI certification, but they get you to open water.
Oh, cool.
Diving with somebody. Well, I've heard a lot of people say they tried that.
Yeah, I've only done snorkeling. I've done saltwater snorkeling 2-3 times. Once with, I guess they were stingrays. I don't think they were manta rays. They were stingrays. It was in the Caribbean. Another time, it was in a pool, but it was a saltwater pool with all the fish and the, coral and whatnot in it. It was, I don't know, one of the theme parks in Florida. They offered this. I don't remember. It was just using your per diem. Using your Des, are you using your per diem to throw bits or to go scuba diving?
Sorry, did you just say perineum?
Per diem.
Perineum. Devnall says, my wife has her open water certification. I have the rescue diver certification. Wow, in that case, the first time I dive, I want to go with him. In case I turn into an idiot and decide to, oh, goodness, here it comes.
Holy cow.
Wow.
So, what's the difference between just open water and rescue diver? So what do you have to do special to be a rescue diver?
We'll wait for that answer.
I don't remember all the specifications, but it's several layers above that, almost like a dive master, maybe above that. You have to learn how to rescue people that's having trouble diving.
Can't you just do like a fire extinguisher, pull their hose out and aim it so they go up?
No.
They kind of they cover the basics of things like losing your mouthpiece due to being caught on obstruction and pulled out of your mouth, where they teach you that you kind of, Tim, again, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm going off what I've been taught and I'm only a complete amateur, but you kind of wheel your arm in this kind of thing because the hose is attached on one side. So if you do a sort of pinwheel and keep your arm in a wide circle like this, inevitably you're going to pull that hose back over your shoulder to a point where you can grab it and retrieve the mouthpiece again.
Yeah, but if you don't have the secondary, like mine, I carry a secondary that I stick in my pocket. So if I lose the main one and I can't find it right away, I grab the secondary and breathe off of that. But yeah, that's the type of stuff you have to learn. You have to learn how to take your mask off and swim breathing without your mask on. That was the most difficult thing for me to do. Because your tendency as soon as the mask is off is to breathe through your nose. You have to learn not to breathe through your nose at all when the mask comes off.
Yeah.
By the way,
so those are the two difficult ones to learn to just basic diving.
Ian says, down in the Bahamas, they have diving with the local nurse and lemon sharks. I grew up in South Florida, and I had stepped on one of those in the ocean while at the beach. I couldn't tell what kind it was because, it did what it does, which means get the fuck out of there when it gets stepped on. Des then says the benefit of being in the middle of nowhere but still in the DC metro area is the per diem. So we're glad to hear that. We'll take the bids. No shame here. Devnall, thank you, buddy. Here's to you. Clink.
Cheers.
Thanks, Devna. Kevin mentioned Egypt earlier. And, the deepest scuba dive ever is set by an Egyptian, Ahmed Gabar, on September 23rd, 2014. He dived to a depth of 1,090 feet, decompressed for 14 hours on his way back up.
Wow.
How do they get that much air in a tank? Is there somebody else?
He took 9 tanks with him.
And then I guess they just have them on a line, and he pulls them off the line and changes them out and whatnot. Okay.
It's at different levels. Depending on how far you dive, you have to decompress at different levels as you come up.
Yeah.
How many hours, Ed?
So
14?
Let me look at that again.
I think you said 14.
I think it was 14.
I'm just imagining you have to take a nap at some point in time with some of these dives.
You got
14 hours. Decompressed for 14 hours on his way up.
You got diving is one of those things that I found anyway, where you need to be very practical and very honest with yourself about your own limitations, because it's one of those things where you don't want to get too comfortable about what you're doing, because if you find yourself in trouble and you find yourself, if you forgive the pun, out of your depth, it's not like any other activity where you can put something down, step to one side. You're underwater, and you can't necessarily just head straight for the surface and get air. So you need to be able to keep control of your own calm, be aware of your own self quite a lot.
Self-control there, yeah.
I got offered the opportunity to go and dive into a sinkhole, and I turned it down because A, I didn't think I was competent enough anyway, but B, I'm happy with what I've done, and I don't feel the need to go any further. I can now, if I want, at certain places when I go on holiday, go and rent some gear, and I can go and put around the reefs, looking at the wildlife without needing to snorkel and come up for air all the time.
Yeah, you're there for the experience, not the thrill seeking.
Yeah, I'm happy with that,
I'm sorry.
I was going to say
one of the things they keep telling you when you go to these certifications is plan your dive your plan. In other words, know how deep you're going to go, for how long you're going to stay there. Make sure that when you come back to the service, you don't get yourself into trouble. So you got to plan on what you're going to do before you even get in the water, and then stick to it.
Elizabeth, what were you going to say?
I've only scubaed a couple times, and I love it. I felt completely natural at it. I want to do it more. I just haven't yet. But I did discover that I am extraordinarily claustrophobic when you get into dark caves and things like that. I don't feel the need to explore that more. In fact, it awoken it up in me, and I realized I've got some kind of memory, and I can't dig it out quite yet, but of being constricted and being underground and not being able to move. And so,
Here's to Devnall real quick, and I want to read a couple comments. Thanks for that bit tip there, buddy.
Cheers.
Devnall.
We're up to the rim almost. By the way, Devnall said my rescue diving test actually turned into recovery of a fisherman who fell off a sandbar. Got a nice letter from Patty, but sad that it was a recovery. And then Mad Hawk says, I attempted a rescue diver initial training course. It was a brutal 48-hour endurance test. I lasted 12. Still respectful. More than some, right? So, and here comes Tall Sally, who is Elizabeth, throwing another bit in there, trying to get that to overflowing. It's like playing that coin game in the arcade where you got all the coins stacked up. Oh, here comes 103 for Ben.
It's so close.
Let's see if they make it. Go ahead.
Come on, baby. Come on, baby.
I've done. Kevin mentioned diving into this hole. And I've done spelunking before, caving on dry land, and I know that feeling when you get in there and everything gets closed in and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't dived before. I'd love to try it. I think it would be awesome, but I can't imagine combining the two together because
yeah.
Nah.
So we have an Ed rant. So, Mad Hawk, do you have a topic you want him to rant about, or shall we just pick one? Screaming Eagles are better than All Americans.
Oh man, you're putting me on the spot there, dude. But yeah, okay. Yeah, being a rappel guy and not caring too much for guys that are just dangling along on strings and legs and shit like that. Yeah. Eagles are 101st is definitely better than the 82nd Airborne. Fuck those bastards.
Oh.
They think they're something. But yeah, the 101st Airborne, they're the shit, man. They are. They're the shit. There you go.
You did it. You splashed it, Des. You hit it and you splashed them out. We're at a lower level now than we were before. It's
Okay.
because I looked over at the cup. I didn't see it splash out, but I looked and it's lower than it was. So there, now we got to fill it back up.
Yes, Kevin.
Yeah, I'm going to add quickly. I said to Devon I'll explain why I didn't do the sinkhole dive, and there's two reasons, both relating to the previous day before I got offered the opportunity, where I'd gone round to the bay, which is the next one round. I was staying in a place on the Red Sea in Egypt called Taba, T-A-B-A, if you want to look it up. And at the next bay round is one of the world famous diving sinkholes, which is called the Blue Hole at Dahab. The day beforehand, there's a small cafe on the beach there where you can sit and you can see the sinkhole from the shore where the cafe is located. So we'd been and we had coffee there for something to do. And I happened to go for a stroll up the cliffs overlooking the bay to get some nice photographs. And at the top of the cliff, I used to suddenly come across all the memorials of the divers who never came back. Now, admittedly, they were going an awful lot deeper than I would ever have gone. But just that was enough to remind you of how serious a mistake.
Wow.
Done.
But also,
Dora.
while I was there, I borrowed a snorkel mask from the cafe and I went for a swim across the bay. And I swam out across the top of the sinkhole. Now, the depth from the surface to the top of the sinkhole on the seabed is about 50 or 60 feet there. But the water is so crystal clear that your visibility is clear almost all the way to the bottom. And I'm snorkeling out, and look, there's some nice brain coral, and this is all very pretty. And all of a sudden, I reached the point where I swam out over the edge of the sinkhole. Now, I know in my mind that I'm 50 or 60 feet just above that. I'm not even anywhere near the lip into it. And suddenly, my balls shrank to the size of raisins.
Oh.
Because you have one of those moments where you're suddenly looking into this black abyss below you, and it reminds you how tiny and fragile and insignificant you really are as a human being. And having seen that the day beforehand, when the guy at the dive hut on the beach at the hotel where I was staying said, "Hey, I'll take you down into the blue hole, just into the top bit of it if you want," I went, "No, you're right."
And while you were telling your very exciting story, it got into a bit of a competition over here.
Ooh,
Oh.
hello.
Yeah.
Oh, they splashed the hell out of that bitch.
Yeah.
Did you see what Dora did?
Dora
Her
did a...
1,000.
Go ahead, Andrew.
Wow.
Yeah, her 1,000 shamrock blew everything out of the cup.
From a
Holy
low
cow.
halfway.
Devin at $2.99.
Which, by
And-
the way, what that was,
Oh,
Dora took the lead. Devnall threw 6 more in, or I'm sorry, $2.99 plus 6 to go one
Crazy.
above her, and then Dora just threw another 300 in. And,
and
Wow.
also somebody did a sexy Kevin, redeemed for a
Oh.
sexy Kevin.
there's Devnall with
Desmond.
another 100. Thank you, guys.
Is there anything in particular you would like me to read in a sexy British accent, or anybody you would like me to dedicate a phrase to?
By the way, here's to all the bits. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you guys. You're all amazing.
guys.
It's
Appreciate
freaking
it.
awesome. Wait, I need water now.
Des, let him know what you want him to read sexy. Otherwise, he'll choose something random. Couple comments real quick. You might want to read this sexy. Devnall says, took the wife to Blue Grotto and we had the place to ourselves. Fresh air bell at 35 feet where we made out. Took her into the 100-foot cavern. That is all. And then Ian.
Sound
Here, here.
Mhm.
Is that like a euphemism?
It's,
Like he took her in the 100-foot cavern. It's like
That's
a
the way to
diver's-
speak about your wife.
it's better than speaking about somebody else's wife that way. Another 200 from Devnall. Here's for you, buddy.
So funny.
Oh, another 200 from Dora. Oh my God.
Wow, look at this. You guys are amazing.
Ian says, I'm just not comfortable around deep water. Snorkeling sounds fine, but I'll keep my feet mostly dry while spelunking. No sinkholes for me.
Desmond, that's amazing. I'm going to fulfill this with Desmond now. Right.
Go ahead, Kev.
Sexy Kevin voice. He would like a request for an order of crumpets and tea.
Dev.
I say, milady, your crumpets are looking rather delicious today. Would you mind awfully if I partook of those heavily with a little tea on the side? Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Know what I mean?
Here's the
Clotted
number for
train.
5.
Wow.
Okay, now he wants you to read Devnall's line about the wife. Do that sexy.
Where,
Scroll up a bit, just above the bit competition.
where am I looking? Oh. Ha. I took my wife to the Blue Grotto, and we had the place to ourselves. Fresh air bell at 35 feet, so we made out. And then I took her in the 100-foot cavern.
Oh, it's a good day.
That's going to be clipped for a highlight.
There we go. As Ed fixes his camera again. Oh. That
I
needed a
don't
moment
know
of
what's
load.
going on.
Oh, you're just in a new place with new internet. By the way, it is 5 minutes till the third hour. Hello to the new folks joining us. It is time for a quick refill break. Refill and empty. Empty the bottle, refill the glass. Yes, Ed?
Question
I
was
just want.
Tim, you want to hang another hour? You good, buddy? Or
Come on, Tim.
No, I think I'm going to have to drop off here. I gotta
Okay.
get to work.
Well, here's
Join
the
us,
Tim.
Tim.
Thanks for joining us.
Here's the Tim.
yeah, thanks.
Alright.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, guys.
I do
Yeah,
have more
thanks for joining
questions
me.
for you, Tim. Come
Oh,
back.
wait, do you have one more question before he leaves, or?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No, the next time he joins us.
I have a question before you leave. Your favorite place you ever dived?
Mm.
Mm.
Gotta be the Keys.
Okay.
Gotta be the Keys, because there's coral everywhere. There's stuff to see everywhere you go. And you don't have to dive that deep.
Very good. Thank you.
Oh, before we have a break, Dora wants to know, what do we do with the bits?
Care to explain it?
So what
Andrea?
exactly do all these bits do for you?
The
Oh.
bits are essentially
We
a
give them
penny
money.
a piece. You're throwing pennies at us. So, for example, Des, thank you for that 200 bits. That's $2, which it might not sound like a lot when you're throwing 5 and 10 bits, but it is. Look right now at the top
is.
3 people this week. Right now, we are looking at, just from the top 3 people alone, $37 that you guys have thrown our way. And this is going to help us improve the equipment. In the best of circumstances and the worst of circumstances, we get things like this to go, hey, here's for you. Thanks for buying this one. And thanks for that, Defnal, with your 69. You're number 9. So,
Yeah,
and,
it did.
and like I said, that's just from the top 3. If we look at, Des has also thrown in 575. Andrea has done 63. Elizabeth has done 40. Skipper has done 37. Ed 6, Talking Towie 5. So with all these together, if you did the math, we're looking at over $40, almost $42, $43. Yes, that's awesome, guys. Thank you. That all helps make the show better for you. And,
You.
oh, thank you, Elizabeth. Okay,
Thank you, Tim.
we gotta. I
All
was about to
right.
say we gotta pee.
Good
but I'm
night, Tim.
gonna-
Good night,
Thank you.
Tim.
Thank you. Appreciate it, man.
Bye.
And Bob didn't log in, so hey, you got an easy day at work tomorrow.
You won't give me a hard time tomorrow then, right?
Right.
All right.
Okay. I'm gonna step away for a moment. Anybody else?
Same here.
Yeah, same here. I'm going to urinate. You didn't need to know that, but I feel like sharing.
Well,
Okay,
you're a 10.
We will be back.
Ah.
Just stare at the drawing. Try to figure it out.
Elizabeth, are you staying for the whole thing?
I can.
Well, you don't.
I really need to pee though.
Go.
Just turn your drawing so everybody can look at it and figure it out.
We're entering the third hour, guys. When we get back, we'll be right back.
All by myself. Huh? Don't wanna be. All right, there you guys go. Enjoy. Everybody take a break. Take a breath.
I'm the first one back. Let's see if I can show you things. Let's see what we got here. Let's go to the camera. You can see. See, we can turn this way and down here. That's squirrel. This is Zazzle. Back here, you can see giraffe. And over here, up there on the shelf, that's cuttlefish the cat. So, but yeah, Dora, the bits are essentially tipping us. Think if you went to anywhere for a 3-hour show that you could throw a little bit their way, tip them. That's just our way of getting tips. And don't forget, you can, go on, Dev. We'll wait here for you. And you can get those bits for free by watching videos. If you click on the little triangle in the chat box, it brings up the bit thing. You'll see a thing that says get bits. And if you watch the videos, and they're interactive videos, so you have to click on them afterwards, you can get anywhere from 5 bits to 100 bits per video. So that's randomized. There's no guarantee you'll get the 100-bit video, but you might. Oh, we're down to 14 people as we enter the third hour. Ed's coming back. Oh, speaking of which, I need to check this and make sure. Yeah, the screen is still good. We still got a good field of vision here. I could probably make these guys just a wee bit bigger now. Whoop. And then move them over like that. And give you guys a better view of all their pretty faces. There we go. Feel better?
Yeah, that picture of hers, I can't. Oh, wow. Wow.
You want me to make it big? I'll make it big for everybody. There we go.
Because I can do that when we're on the Skype. So.
Oh yeah, and I'll do it for everybody else watching.
God, that is fabulous.
Hey, thank you, Skipper. Here's to you. Appreciate it.
And Skipper, I really, really appreciate the candy.
Yeah, we do. It was quite a surprise, and as I texted you after the Thursday show, it was waiting for us outside. If we had gone outside before the show, we would have had it Thursday. But instead, Monday is better anyway, because more people get to see our appreciation. Okay, let's zoom that out. Go back to that. Okay, looks like we're all back.
That picture. Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Move some things around here so we get a better view of everyone.
Oh my God. There goes the cock.
Third hour, baby.
What is that?
That's right. There's another 3 from Skipper.
We don't hear you. I think you're on mute, Elizabeth.
This whole British summertime thing sucks. Can we go back to when the show used to be an hour earlier for me? That was much more fun.
Well, see,
Kevin,
this is great for me, Kevin, because it's only 9 o'clock where I am right now.
Yeah.
I don't even know why
We're
I'm
all in
complaining.
different time zones.
It's a mere 3 a.m. here.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah, fuck it.
Okay. Skipper threw a dad joke out, so let's see what we got here. What do you call a sketchy Italian neighborhood? The Spaghetto.
Oh, no.
There you go. Standard reaction as well.
Did somebody redeem a joke? Is that why you did that?
Yeah, and then Skipper redeemed a that's a no. Andrea?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've been working on this, so I have a list of that's a no. Hold on. Let me turn the page. All right. Bullying. That's a no. Be nice. Damn it.
Oh.
You want another one?
There's an Ed rant.
Topic, please.
What you eating?
Potato chips. That's why I've been muting myself. But now I got a mouthful in the middle of a goddamn id rant.
Yeah, you do.
So if you don't give me a topic, I'm just gonna rant about people requesting a fucking id rant while I'm trying to eat potato chips. Damn it!
I'm glad I brought candy now.
I will say this while we're waiting for him to give you a topic.
Candy.
Don't forget
Rhymes with
tomorrow
brandy.
from 1 to 4 Eastern, we have Benton Spiker on for Tuesday Tunes. And then Thursday for VIP, we have Cogs steampunk stuff. Another dad joke. So there's no Ed rant. Go ahead and he didn't give a topic. Go ahead and just rant about potato chips, Ed.
Is
I don't know if you heard me. Did you hear me, Ed? You froze, buddy. We'll see him reset his camera real quick. While we're waiting for that, I'll go ahead and do
No
that.
bitch about that.
I just watched a program about beavers. It was the best damn program I've ever seen.
Oh my god.
Hey, here's the Devnall. Ed, can you hear us, man? Thanks for the bits. Okay.
I can hear you guys off and on.
Okay, there's an Ed rant. Now, he said perfect rant, so I don't know if he's okay with the potato chip rant. Do you have more to add to your potato chip rant? Thumbs up. There we go. Okay.
fuck it. I've got a rant about potato chips.
Go
Do
ahead.
it. Do it.
Other than the fact that you incorrectly refer to them as potato chips rather than crisps, which is what you're talking about. What the fuck is with buying a bag of crisps and getting it half full? Fuck you, crisp manufacturers. It's tiny wafer-thin slivers of potato. They cost you fuck all. Stop screwing me over on my bag of crisps, you tight bastards.
Kevin, there was one time I went to a store and we saw nacho chips. Now, you had your regular size bag, so about, 12 inches by 5.5 inches across.
Regular for an American, yeah.
The bottom, it wasn't full even a third of the way. They had settled so much. Like the plastic window that showed them, they barely showed at the bottom of the little plastic window. Yeah, it's...
Yeah, I got a rant. All right, are you ready? This is short. I'll try to keep it short. Okay, and I'm not drinking.
That's funny in itself.
I gave up crisps and chips. I love crisps and chips. I love the salt. I love them because I'm trying to have a healthy heart. I gave them up. I only get them every once in a while. This weekend I caved. I said, screw it. I got my little bag of barbecue and my little bag of salt and vinegar ready to go. Got my boobies ready to chomp it down. Consistency. The salt and vinegar was barely salty. There was hardly any vinegar. It's disgraceful. I wasted calories and years of my heart on this little bag, and it was not fulfilling. What the fuck, Lays? What the fuck?
Have you tried the Pringles salt and vinegar?
No,
They're intense.
no.
They're intense. They're not bad.
Yeah, they're
I was
good.
surprised.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll try 'em. And
Yeah, well-
I do love the pickle flavor, if you're going to ask that.
I do
love
too.
it.
Yeah, it's good.
They have good pickle ones.
As an international Pringle distributor, I can confirm this.
They have paprika Pringles overseas, and we can't get them here. So we've had Kevin send them to us.
Oh,
God.
nice.
Love 'em.
I actually have a very vivid memory of, I think I'm 5, and my mother allowed me to have a bag of crisps because we were in England at the time at Upper Hayford, and I was watching Are You Being Served, relishing. It's bad.
Insert your own pun about Mrs. Slocum's pussy right here.
Now, you want to hear a crazy habit of Andrea's?
What?
So, Andrea likes Doritos, sort of. And when we first got together, she was very worried about this habit because other people have very much judged her and mocked her for it. She doesn't actually like the corn chip. Des, you have a great night, buddy. Here's to you. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, good night, Des.
Good night, Dad.
Good night, Des. Thanks,
Thanks
Steve.
for hanging out, man.
But yeah, she will take her Dorito and put it in her mouth and lick all the cheesy flavor off and then put the Dorito in the trash.
Understood.
That's what I told her. I'm like, you know what? If that's how you enjoy it, you paid the money. Eat it however the hell you want. I don't give a damn.
Going in your body, your rules.
As long as you don't throw them back in the bag where I get a soggy, flavorless tortilla chip afterwards. I don't care. Ian says...
You're like a mama bird.
Oh, okay. So Ian says Wise makes the saltiest of salt and vinegar chips, as well as their Old Bay chips.
I like
Yeah,
Gold
they are
Bay
good.
chips.
They both are good.
Cool. Writing it down.
See, where I grew up in Florida, everybody said salt and vinegar was black people chips, and I've always loved the I've always loved the damn thing.
It's true. It's true.
It's just one of those
Yeah,
fucking
it's-
stereotypes we have. Exactly, Dora. As long as they don't put it back in the bag. And thank you, Skipper. Here's to you, buddy. Cheers.
Cheers, Skipper.
Yeah.
See, salt and vinegar also has a high place on chips, and I'm talking British now, so what you would refer to as, I don't know, big fat fries.
Right. Yeah.
So wait a minute. Oh no, I agree. By the way, I love a good
Oh,
French fry or British chip. Yes.
when we were visiting Kevin and all of that, they have chips over there. Oh my God, ham and mustard and some crazy stuff.
Oh yeah,
I
they
wish
taste
we
like
could get them
like
here.
a fucking hoagie or sub, whatever you want to call it. By the way,
Yes, it's like a sandwich in a chip.
Toei says Zaps are my favorite chips brand. I have no idea what those are. Ooh, see, Dora says Andrea. I'll see if I can find a small bag, or it says I confer. I'm not sure what misspelling that is.
Fit.
Autocorrect.
Fit.
There we go. A small
Fit.
bag into your package. Wise chips were founded locally.
Oh,
By the way, I just put up a Talk of the Tavern event today, which is at our house. It's a live event, not an online event. We invited Dora, I know we invited you. Toei, I know we invited you. Skipper, I know we invited you. Ed, Elizabeth,
but
Kevin.
you made it a public event, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but basically,
I'm waiting for this. I'm invited as well, yeah?
I can,
Yeah.
but I didn't feel like being ridiculous at the moment. So I
Presumably why you're not inviting me.
right, exactly. So yeah, it's basically cocktails and conversation at our house. So if we don't know you, yeah, we're not going to invite you. But if we know you, you can have our address.
Well, see, it's a public event, so if you want to come and you message us, and we're like, okay, we'll give you the address.
You can come because there's cocktails.
Just don't be offended if they also message you and go, no, you're just a little bit too fucking weird for us, thanks.
Yeah,
Well-
see, that's the tough line, isn't it? It's like, where do we?
Mm.
And I'm hopefully I will have my croquet set refinished and redone. So
And
croquet.
it won't
Huh?
snow.
All right.
Yeah, we were gonna do event Saturday because they're doing cosplay in the park get together in Richmond at Maymont. Yeah, it's gonna snow.
Which, by the way, Toei says
So
the Zaps are delicious. Kettle chips from New Orleans in many unique flavors. I like the sound.
oh, Yes, I got some of those. They're really good.
And Ian says, I went to basic training in Benning. There were guys asking for ketchup, and all they had was Tabasco. My grandfather raised me to love hot sauce, eggs, and toast, so it wasn't a problem for me. It's a matter of fact, on Instagram last night I just posted the fajitas I made, including the hot sauces. But I don't get regular hot sauce. I get like Tapatio, Cholula with lime, or Sriracha, depending on my mood.
He's crazy about lime.
I like
Tabasco
Chips
used-
lime.
Go ahead, Ed.
Tabasco used to be an issue item in MRE's military meals.
Oh, really?
Tabasco was an issue
Really?
item. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not anymore.
Not so much anymore in the newer ones.
I love those little bottles. They were so
Yeah.
cute.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
they were awesome.
Toey, that is something I put in the description of the event. Feel free to invite other people that you know or that know us, because, again, with me clearing out my Facebook, there was some people I'm like, fuck, I'm not friends with them anymore because I haven't talked to them via Facebook at all or in years. So I'm like, why do I need them on this list?
Oh,
What happened?
it's on my birthday.
Yeah.
It is.
Dude, you can make it down here.
Yeah, if you tell me you're
I
coming,
wish you were closer.
I'll put your wish list up there also. I put Andrea's Amazon wish list as well as some things she likes. So, if somebody wants to be kind enough to bring her a birthday present, it's there.
Yeah, we are going down after all on this show.
On my actual birthday, we'll be at Ed's doing a whiskey tasting.
Yeah. Is whiskey all we're going to taste that day?
If anyone would like to get her a really amazing present, you could bring our friend Kevin from the UK.
We know a great airline that's really reasonably priced. Who is it we want to?
Yes.
Oh, Monty. We want to talk to Monty and make sure he knows about that airline for good
I
discount
wouldn't,
price.
because I know he travels a lot. I wonder what he uses.
And Toey says, I don't see to drive at night, but if my husband is in town, I'd like to come see the party. Fingers crossed. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that'll be fun.
That's I deleted I had multiple Facebook groups, I had multiple Facebook pages, and I didn't delete them all, but I deleted a lot of them, as well as
I did the same thing. Like I mentioned earlier with being sick and everything. It's like after I got over that, I just went through my Facebook page and just, all right, this person never posts shit, gone. All right, this group, they never post anything, gone.
By the way,
I've had it since
go ahead, Kev.
I was going to say I've had it since I started this new job because I have a lot less free time to waste, if you like, on social media.
Yeah.
And someone actually messaged me the other day and went, "Hey, you're right, man. You used to post loads of really funny shit. And I used to look forward to seeing your posts in my feed, and you've just disappeared." Well, I haven't disappeared. I'm fucking working.
Yeah.
But I don't miss it.
No, and that's exactly it. Dora, I don't remember who all I deleted. I deleted 600-700 people. And if you go and look, and I'm not in your friends list anymore, it's because I talk to you here. I don't need to talk to you on Facebook. But if you're like, no, I want to see the stupid crap you post, it's going to be mostly Talk of the Tavern oriented anyway, even on my personal page. Because I'm tired of seeing everybody. I used to go to Facebook or social media to see something entertaining, cute, educational, and now it's such an angry, negative fucking place. I'm tired of unfollowing people. I'm just removing them. And not because they're dicks. Ed, I love to hear your opinion. Elizabeth, I love it when you get hot and bothered and start going off about something. But I want to interact with you and talk to you about it, not see it put on a page with 40 responses, half agreeing, half yelling at you. Fuck that. I ain't got to use
Well, I agree with you. And what's interesting is I get hot and bothered with you guys because you'll put up with me. I won't hang up.
Yeah.
But on the internet, I try to stay positive and make things beautiful or silly,
Right.
or make it an addition to the day rather than just pissing in.
And when I post, in the private chat that the five of us have, I'm a little cranky or my feelings were hurt. Yeah, that is literally like a 90-second thing where I'm like, "Pah," but I'm over it. I put it up there because you guys are the closest conversationalist friends I have. That you guys could go, yeah.
Like fucking guests that bow on the show. Yeah.
Guests do what on the show?
That bow out.
Or don't bow out, but push it straight to the go time and still don't. Hey, here's a
Or
quick.
say I can't come on because it's too controversial.
I will tell you this. Anybody watching, if you're ever going to be a guest, when we say be here an hour before the show, guess what? I mean be here a fucking hour before the show. Because we have technical stuff we have to check, and we have to chill and hang out and get used to each other. There's a reason for it. It's not because I feel like it. It's important. Now, maybe there won't be any technical issues, and we'll have an hour of nothing to do. Well, fine. Get the fuck up and go in the other room and ignore us for 20 minutes and come back. But be here to set up when I tell you. It's important. I'm done. Somebody else rant.
I love it. Passion.
It's respect. It's a matter of respect and professionalism. We're a very casual, relaxed show, and I love that. But there is a point where we get the fucking work done.
No, we're controversial.
We are controversial because we say naughty, naughty words. It's
What?
Why do I get the feeling you just looked at me?
I'm looking at our list,
No.
and I'm wondering. I think I know who this one person is who popped in. And hello, if I do know you, if you were on the show previously. Glad to see you. I'm not going to call you out in case you're like, no, I don't want to be called out. But yeah, we're glad to have you here. So jump in if you want to jump in the conversation. And actually, if it's the person I'm thinking about, when they were on the show, they were on time. And I appreciate that.
Cool. Yeah, thank you for being here, dude. That's cool.
There you go. Yeah, always happy to have you, buddy.
Yeah.
And I think you probably just heard my Facebook thing. So once again, if you look through the friends list and I'm not there, it ain't you.
And he wasn't afraid to be on the show because it was too controversial either.
Not at all.
Oh my god, you're so funny.
If it's the first I'm thinking of, he
You are
was
so funny.
he was a good guest who had a shit thing to deal with. That's enough on that. There you go. Nice wobble there, Kevin.
Wobble.
Thanks.
See, we're in the third hour now. I want to talk more about what we're doing later this week. Look, Tuesday, Tuesday.
Now's when we talk. Okay.
Go ahead, Andrea. Oh, you want to talk about muff diving instead?
Yeah, baby.
Maybe.
That's my specialty. That stuff they say about black eyes, that shit is not true.
Oh, quiet down. You're a white redneck anyway. Yeah, show us that hat. Show us that hat when I say that.
I bet Ed's licensed to 70 feet, though.
It says yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Oh my god.
It's Tuesday Tunes I'm looking forward to. And I think there's a way that I could play the music where I automatically mute us without a problem. But somebody else knows how to do it, and they've got to educate me before I figure it out. Otherwise, it's mute via the headset button, and everybody just shuts up.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Tomorrow, it's Tuesday Tunes. We have Benton Spiker coming on to talk about his music. We'll play his music and other music. And I've decided, because we won't be talking during the music, I'm going to do a craft.
What are you
doing? So hopefully it'll turn out. Yeah, I'm getting to that. So hopefully it'll turn out well. I am going to make. I know people have seen the holsters for a teacup and a saucer. Mostly steampunk people wear them. I'm going to make one. But mine's not going to be leather. It's going to be made out of cloth. I've made a design. We'll see how it works.
Devnall says, I love to dive deep, just as my Alabama black snake. Apparently, it's a snake that don't mind the wet.
Travis,
Yeah.
when you enlarged the photo, when I bent down to show the patch on my head, the Talk of the Tavern patch appeared perfectly right across the head.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, because it's in the middle of the screen, isn't it? It totally blocked it. Here, let me do this. Hold on a second. Let's, okay.
That's funny.
Let's move that out of the way. Go ahead and bow down again there, Ed.
Okay, here we go.
There we go. Now everybody can see it.
Okay. Now we wait for the delay.
I'm excited by some of the guests. See, we've expanded our ability to have guests and focus. Hey, he's back. Got lost. You missed a lot.
to see you, Mad Hawk. Thanks.
Next week, we got Stephanie McBride on, who's a professional chef as well as Kevin, so we're going to discuss cooking and cannibalism. Down the road,
I'm very excited for that.
we do have a show called Transgender Rights, where we're going to have 3 or 4 of our transgender friends on and discuss that whole situation. Feline Lang in May is coming up, who has a great smoky cabaret type feel to her and her music.
Oh, is that who you played
That is.
for me today?
Yeah.
Oh, I like them. Very good.
Night Watch Paradox, who has an ad in the rotation down below, will be coming on at the end of May. I'm just excited to get just more conversation, more cool people to hang out with. Loving it.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Should we zoom in on Elizabeth now?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder, getting back to the original topic, and her buoyancy, yeah, we need to zoom in on something, I think, because...
It's true, man. It's true. All right.
Hey,
Let's go.
Kev, you're in the picture.
Yeah.
You see that? See sexy Kev over there?
Sexy cat.
That's awesome.
Hold on a second.
I can't get
it. There we go. That's good there. There's some salt and vinegar chips in the British.
No.
Dora says, check out the
No.
folk band called Dragon Song. Why does that sound familiar, Ed? Do we know
It
that?
does sound familiar. I
Dora, do me a favor. Tell them to drop me a line. If I can get some of their music, I'll put it in the rotation. I will put here's the deal. I'll put anybody's music up once. Now, if I am not a fan of it, when I put it up, everybody listening and viewing gets to comment on it, and then I will go off their decision. So if it's something I don't like, but everybody else likes it, it's going to get played again. If everybody's like, whoa, now that's the other danger zone. If it's a new artist with thin skin that's not very good, there's a danger of having their feelings hurt there. But it's going to be honest feedback, I'll guarantee that, and that's worth something. Unless you have really thin skin.
Oh, she used to play with them. Dora said she used to play with
Ah.
them.
Music or just play with them?
or just play with them.
How you doing?
I'm good either way. So.
Edge of they.
You have so much going on in that picture. It's great.
It's great.
It's everything we talked about.
It's great.
I know.
I love
It's
these.
amazing.
The jelly bean's kind of freaking me out a little bit, but other than that.
It's not a jelly bean.
Oh, God.
That's a pickle.
Oh, no, that's a pickle. That's a pickle.
Oh, by the way, I want to say this. If you look up
That's what
Elizabeth,
we were talking about.
if you
Sorry.
look up Elizabeth on IMDb and click on her different projects, all except one has the video attached, so you can watch the video. We watched her one from college. We watched
Oh, my
Zombie
God.
Pickles from Space. The only one we didn't get to see is Dillzilla.
I saw that.
What'd you think of Way?
What do we think of which one?
Oh, my God. I liked it. It was just... There's emotion in there. I wasn't exactly sure. I know it's artsy. I wasn't sure exactly what it was, but Travis and I discussed it and then looked at the description, and we were like...
Nailed it. Yes, Ed?
Did
You
yeah,
want to read that, Ed?
I liked it.
Yeah, I love Dora's answer. Well, I was a drummer for them, but so was my husband, so technically both. Love it.
And Mad Hawk says that's a masterpiece, Elizabeth. So
Thank you. Right on. Cheers.
yeah.
Did you see
He's
that?
really good with feet.
Did you see the angry penis?
Yes.
Did you see the
Yes.
angry vagina?
Yes.
Yes.
So,
So I was looking
okay,
at your
everybody.
board
Angry
going,
penis, angry vagina. Go to IMDb. Look up
Way. W-A-Y.
WAY. It's
That
a film.
film took 5 years of my life.
Really?
Cost me a lot of money and convinced me to stop animating.
Okay.
We'll talk talk more about that later. But yeah, that was crazy. I'm glad you saw it. It was a master's thesis. It was an art piece, and I had to defend that piece against these really snooty professors who were saying animation isn't art. And when I finally showed it, God, I hadn't slept for like a week. And I remember sitting there showing it, and it ended, and I counted, and it was like 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and nobody said anything. And I bit my tongue to not say, yeah, that shut you the fuck up, didn't it?
It definitely...
It's been censored in 2 states.
Really? Congratulations.
Well, I can see that.
You're a little too controversial.
Maybe we should, if you ever want to show it on the show.
As soon as I figure out how to play videos, absolutely. Because we can chat along as it's playing, and I could just put it up on the screen, and why the hell not?
Do that.
You know, by the time on the schedule.
See that?
Uh-huh.
That's my screen. And behind and on this side of me is a projector. That's where I watch all my movies.
Oh, nice.
By the way, we have a show just for Elizabeth coming up. I could check the date on it. Called One Pickle, One Lady, One Beer. Is that when it is? Thank you.
Yep.
It's so yeah, feel free to join us for that, and hopefully I'll have the tech down by then where we can show that video, and it'll just take up the whole screen and not show us. Yeah, we can work that out. We'll see what we can do. And if we can't do that, then we can post the video ahead of time and say watch this before next week, and then we can discuss it next week, whatever.
There'll be a test.
There we go.
Oh, yeah. We're constantly improving just for our audience, which
we are.
Is you.
And that's the thing the bits help with. You know, it helps with that. So
oh, my God. I just want to say the feet are so good. They're freaking me out. I hate feet. And the toes, but...
Just keep trying them, baby.
I feel like you need an onomatopoeia right by the pickle.
Moist.
Oh, okay. Moist.
Oh, you know
I don't think that's an onomatopoeia, but that works. Uh-huh.
Oh, my God.
I was trying to stay away from words.
Oh, understandable then. I'll make my own noise in my head. I usually do.
Kev, you were talking about scuba diving earlier on, and my big moment, it wasn't my balls shrinking. I guess you'd say my ovaries clenched. My female balls.
Your asshole puckered, huh?
Yes. All I did was I was in it was in Mexico, Puerto Vallarta, and it's right when the season. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. Anyway, I'm going down the rope, making sure my ears are popping, and I'm underwater, and the other diver couldn't make it, so the instructor tells me to wait here, and he's going to go up, and he'll be back. And I'm like, okay, you know. So I'm hanging on the end of this rope underwater, just do. And I realize I'm the bait at the end of a hook. And I'm looking around. So eventually he comes down, and I start swimming.
Real quick.
And then I realize.
Good night, Dora. Thank you.
Good night, Dora.
Appreciate
Thanks.
it.
Yeah, thanks for everything.
And then as I'm swimming, I realize everything is faster than me. Everything. Right? Like little fish come up, and then they take off. And but then, and I went through a cave, and it freaked me out a little bit. But there was a moment when we came out, and we stopped, and we waited, and you could hear the whales singing in the water to each other, humpbacks. And that was when it was worth it. So can't wait to do more of that.
Yeah, like everybody.
That's
here,
when my butt unclenched.
I wouldn't mind scuba. I'd like to go scuba. I'd love to do that.
Yeah.
But I have no urge to be inside a cave while underwater. I could spelunk on dry land to a point, because there's a point where I'm going to realize my skill level is not up to the challenge. And I'm not that dumb where my ego says go forward when my brain is like, what the fuck you think you're doing? But yeah, even, look, I wouldn't necessarily want to swim with tiger sharks, hammerheads, or great whites. Whales wouldn't bother me, minus like orcas, because I look like a fucking seal. Yeah.
Well, you're saying you wouldn't want to swim with sharks. It doesn't even have to be anything that potentially big or dangerous. Lionfish.
True.
Right. Now, I have a lot of friends who keep marine, or not a lot of friends, but I have some friends who keep marine fish. And several of those own lionfish.
Right.
Now, their sting is quite nasty.
Yes.
It's certainly not something that you want to be fucking around experiencing in open water, especially when you could be some distance from medical treatment. Right. Now, the area where I was on the Red Sea was famed for having lionfish. And they warned us about this. And I was gutted because I had an underwater camera with me. And I was trying desperately to get a photograph of a lionfish. And the only one I'd seen in the whole week I'd been diving there was miles off. And when I tried to swim closer to it, it disappeared. And by the time I got to where it had been, I couldn't see any sign of it.
Because everything's faster than you.
Yeah, way faster. And on the very last day, I'd gone down for one last dive. I got quite lucky, by the way. I'm not rich. What happened was the dive hut on the beach at the hotel where I was staying would rent you gear, just as Tim was saying earlier. So you get everything from a simple snorkel mask all the way up to full scuba gear. And I started off snorkeling. On the whole of the Red Sea area where I was is a national park. The underwater area is preserved. And so there's a big problem with container ships coming up and down the Red Sea, just dumping their rubbish off. And so I by habit, I took a net bag down with me when I was snorkeling. You can pick them up for free from the shop. And so if you're down and you see small manageable bits of rubbish and stuff, you just scoop them up, stick them in the net bag on your hip, bring it up when you come up. Now, apparently most tourists don't bother because they're there for a couple of days. They're just giving it a try. And frankly, fuck you, it's not my country. So it doesn't happen a lot. And because it was so quiet and because every day I was going down and bringing up multiple bags of rubbish while I was down there, because I'm like, well, fuck it, I'm enjoying this. Why can't, I should be helping to look after this place. And in the end, the guy on the beach was like, man, it's so quiet. We're making no money this week. There's like 10% of the hotel is full. If you want scuba gear, take it. Just go diving. It's fine, Just let me know you're taking it. I won't charge you. If you want to go scuba, just go scuba whenever you want, which is how I managed to go diving for a whole week. And on the very last day, anyway, I'd gone to take a photograph of this particularly enormous brain coral, as I hadn't taken a good photograph of it yet. And I had literally
let me ask you about
4
the
shots.
Camera. Did you buy a camera? Did you put your...
You can buy expensive underwater cameras. You can also get disposable ones. It depends on how good a quality of picture you want to take. Right. If you want to do a lot of underwater photography, it's worth investing 200 or 300 quid in an underwater camera.
Sure.
Because obviously, the advance in technology now, they're a lot better than the original huge clunky. It's not like you see people who have these huge cameras like that. You get a little pocket-sized thing, just goes on your wrist on a strap. But you're looking 200 or 300 quid for an entry-level one that's decent quality. So frankly, I just used half a dozen disposables because I just wanted some underwater snaps from holiday.
Right.
So anyway, I have 4 shots left on my last camera. So I've gone down to take some shots of this brain coral, and I snapped one. And I just went to check my positioning, and I looked over my shoulder, and there was a lionfish 3 foot behind my head. And on the one hand, it was great. I span round, I snapped off 3 shots, and I got my lionfish picture finally. But that fucker was 3 foot behind my head with a sting that can, damage your nervous system, even if only mildly.
Yeah,
and I had no idea it was there.
Full-grown lionfish can put a child or an elderly person in danger of death.
Yeah. I get your point about sharks and stuff, but you just need spatial awareness the whole time you're underwater anyway. Because it's like I was saying earlier, it's weird to adjust to, because even though even when you're shallow diving and you can look up and you can see the surface is there, you lack a lot of the visual clues or the feeling of gravity and motion that enables you to orientate yourself to your surroundings on land. So when you first start diving, it's weird because you can almost lose track of where you are positionally in the water. And you have to allow for the fact that you don't realize as well that you're being affected by currents in the water.
Right.
So you think you've only done half a dozen gentle strokes while you were looking at something, and suddenly you look around and you've moved 20 or 30 feet from where you were.
Well,
So
plus current. Plus current on
Yeah.
top of that.
Plus current, yeah.
Growing up in South Florida, whether it was pools or in the ocean or in the man-made lakes where they were connected to the Everglades. So Mad Hawk, see, you said you swam with gators by accident once. Thank you, Uncle Sam. I may have swam with them by accident also and just never saw them. But there was times we went to the man-made lakes. I went, there's a snout sticking out. We're not going in. Ed?
Another question from Mad Hawk. Mad Hawk, okay, I'm gathering you were in the service. What branch? What job? What unit? What did you do? Did you ever fast rope while you were in? We were talking about going down. I repelled. I left the service about the time fast roping was coming in. Did you ever fast rope while you were in?
And real quick,
And while we wait?
Yeah, while we wait, Devnall says lionfish have invaded our Florida waters. I didn't know about that.
Oh, really?
And Cyrnic
No, I
has
didn't
joined
either.
us. He is also joining us for a full show featuring what he does. Hold on, I'm looking. There we go. On the
It
21st
is cult movies and musicals.
in May. But
Whoa.
he says, years of living in Florida have assured that I will never swim in ocean/lake/river again. Give me a pool anytime. It has made me, as much as I love being on the water, without full gear, I have no desire to swim in a water where I cannot see what's around me. I'm just nervous to hell about that. And again, I will get borderline panic when I can't see. If I can see, it's a different world. At least then, if I can see something, I know what situation I'm in. Being clueless makes me wary.
The whole time I'm swimming, I mean, in a pool, not so much, but every once in a while, or I'm just swimming along the beach or underwater or snorkeling, especially when it's a little murky.
Yeah.
All I expect to see are jaws and
Well, in Florida, we
the whole time.
We had gar, and gar were known to bite people. If you were in the ocean near the pier, there was hammerheads off the coast of Florida. 300 feet off the coast, you could have a hammerhead, let alone barracuda, which are just as dangerous as sharks, especially when they're in a pack. There's your answer, Ed.
What was your MOS? While we wait.
And by the way, Cyric says, we as humans are invading their home and they happen to be predators. Why risk your life for a little relaxation? Yeah, and that's why I'll listen to somebody who knows more than me, and they're like, well, there's not necessarily safe waters. Well, then I'll stay in the boat. I'm good.
I was snorkeling and checking, and I look up and I almost ran headfirst into a barracuda. How do you know it was a barracuda? My friends always told me, because of the eye, which is like,
Yeah,
and he was he was hanging out and he was getting cleaned by those little like feeder fish. And he was just hanging out, looking at me. And then I don't know if it was the same one, but I mentioned it to someone, and he brushed me off at first, and he was he was bringing this tourist out, and then he caught me later, and he said, "I saw your barracuda," and I stood up in the boat because it was so enormous. He was trying to get a photo of it.
Yeah,
and then I got to see that barracuda nail a fish later on. He was up here, and then he was 20 feet down, and I never saw in between. It was so fast.
Yeah, so.
And I started to freak out, and then I looked around, and the turtles weren't freaking out. The manta rays weren't freaking out. So I thought, well, I'm going to join the party.
When I went snorkeling with the rays, and again, maybe they were manta rays instead of stingrays. It was in the Caribbean, off of, oh my God, I can't think of the name of the island. Anyhow, it was wonderful, but there was hundreds of them, and we were in choppy water, and I mean, this is the thing where you get chum off the boat and you feed it to them, and they put their little mouth on you. It was very cool. It's because you're on a sandbar. You're only in like 4-foot water, but with the chop, you're now in 7-foot water, 2-foot water, 7-foot water, 2-foot water. Devnall says, Kuda, with that mouth, all teeth, just staring at you. Key Largo has a mess of them at the Christ of the Abyss. Yeah. I grew up in Fort Lauderdale, traveled to the Keys, back and forth. By the way, did you want to comment on Mad Hawk there, Ed?
Oh hell yeah, we got some bonding going on. Ian was in a artillery unit. Mad Hawk was in an armored cavalry unit. I loved armored cavalry units. They had the nicest fucking toys, man. They had great toys. Loved armor. I was just 11 Bravo, so we walked.
There we go. Devnall says, don't wear jewelry while diving. Remember, we use shiny lures to attract things to grab our bait. So, don't wear shiny reflective stuff of any sort.
Or things that could get caught on your equipment, things that can snag tubes open, that kind of stuff.
But even a wedding ring, take it off. Take it off. It's not worth the risk.
Yeah.
Let alone if you lose it, especially if you're in colder water, your hand shrinks a little, that ring gets loose.
My wife made me leave my wedding and engagement rings with her before I went.
So she could pawn it if you didn't make it back.
She's like, you come back with bits nibbled out of you by a fish, that's fine, we can live without you. Lose the rings, don't come back.
I like her.
Yeah, I know Dunedin Clearwater, Cyrenix, I know that one. There's Devnall's, 619th Ordnance, North Point, Germany.
Ooh.
Ord 55G.
See you guys talking about swimming in Florida, like it's going to put me off, but then Burmese pythons, man.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
None of this is meant to put anybody off. It's mean to make you wary, cautious, because that can save your life. Again, spatial
Be
awareness.
wary, cautious.
Be wary.
It's a good time. It's a good conversation right now. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
Had a lake in the backyard, alligator, coppermouth, snapping turtles. Hey, Michael the House, thank you for following.
Michael, yeah, thanks. Appreciate it, dude.
So I'm curious, was that you on the show a couple weeks ago? I'm curious. But yeah, of course, oceans everywhere. If you swim without your wedding ring, then your wife will assume that you're going down there to have an affair with a mermaid. You know what?
You do.
That's why you have
That's the other part
camera.
of. Yeah, that's the other part of going down. That other diving.
Yeah, it is.
But there's a fishy smell. Don't go down.
Suck it up.
See, Devnall says, PSA, never jump in your pool at night without first
That's
checking
right.
for a gator. We had a screened-in pool when I grew up, so it wasn't an issue. And we also worked where I lived near the natural or the unnatural waterways. Being attacked by a swarm of sand dollars is a scary thing. Never had that.
I've
Okay,
never
thank you.
seen live sand dollars.
It's I have. I've gone out in Naples, and you can go like, I don't know, almost a half mile out. You're still on sandbars. You can see dolphins swimming. Reach down, pick up live starfish, live sand dollars. And this is Michael Whitehouse. So good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, good to see you,
Hey,
Mike.
man.
And to clarify,
Michael.
I just cleared my Facebook. If I unfriended you, it's not because of you. You can friend me again. I will accept it. I just cleared all kinds of people that I don't interact with a lot on Facebook because Facebook is annoying me. Ian says, fun fact about kudas. They have a toxin in them that causes symptoms akin to MS. Could take a week to 20 years for it to get through your system. Cooking doesn't get rid of it, and there's no treatment, just time. So don't eat a kuda, and don't let it eat you.
Yeah, and don't cook yourself because it's not going to help.
I sometimes boil myself in the shower when I turn the water all the way hot. Michael, you may or may not be interested. Thursday, we have an afternoon show where we're bringing in the folks that are doing the Steampunk Piscataway, and they're going to come on and talk about what they're doing. We might have Victor and the Bully, and Monty is definitely joining us. So feel free to come hang out for that. Even if you don't want to say anything, we will not call you out. But yeah, you're back. Where'd you go? The reception?
Yeah, apparently he keeps getting booted.
Skipper, Ed and I have gone down near you, not necessarily Raleigh, but on the coast in North Carolina.
And not on each other either.
But we did kayaking in which swamp was it, Ed?
Merchant's Mill Pond.
There you go. And yeah, we definitely saw plenty of gators, felt bumps on the bottom of the boat. We were pretty sure it weren't a limb because we didn't scrape across something. Something bumped us.
That was kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah. It's and I was in one of Ed's kayaks, a big double one with my son in the front and me in the back, and we saw all kinds of turtles and coppermouths. We did not spot a gator, but we suspect they were around us.
Yeah, it was logs that was moving underneath the boat.
Yeah.
And by the way, Mad Hawk, just did a shout out to you cab guys because y'all got all the neat toys. But that's all you missed, bud.
It's log, it's big, it's heavy, it's wood.
Michael,
It's log, it's better than bad, it's good.
Michael, it's Thursday at 1 p.m. in the afternoon, so yeah, if you're working that day, you might not be around. But if you're curious, it'll of course be up. That one I'll put up on YouTube. Now, mermaid comments. Ian, speaking of mermaids, there's a new show on Freeform called Siren, very spooky on a psychological horror level, and Devnall says I'd make a mermaid feel happy all over. Has anybody seen the new movie with the creature from the Black Lagoon love affair?
Yes, Shape of Water.
How was it?
No.
Pretty good.
Was it? I'm curious
Not
about
bad.
it, but I think it'll be
artsy.
Uh-huh.
It's an artsy monster movie.
Okay.
It's a love story.
I'm good with that. And I heard some people got upset with the one brief love scene, and nobody's sure why, because apparently it wasn't horrible. It was tasteful. But
well, she's completely naked, and then you kind of get a side frontal. I don't know.
You know,
that's what you got upset with. People were getting murdered.
Yeah.
The funniest thing is when they talk about the genitalia of the fish, and it's all hand gestures. That was funny.
I'll pick it up out of Redbox and watch it because I'm curious.
Yeah, pick it up. It's worth a view. It's pretty good.
Let's see. Town Creek in Brunswick County is full of gators. Yeah, and Ian says Devnall, not those mermaids, very predatory. Cyrnic says Splash 2, aquatic boogaloo. Trading an army uniform for a crackerjack uniform. Active.
What do you want, Andrew? What does it mean? What is it like? Tell me.
The picture? Hold on. Let me make it big. So what else does her drawing mean? What? Maybe you could put something with. We've talked a lot about the service. So the army, maybe a tank, or maybe Ed. What's it need?
A helicopter.
There we go.
All right, you get it.
Uncle Sam ain't released me yet, U.S. Army.
It's got to be an army chopper.
There we go. Maybe you could just put a soldier under the picture of you staring up at you.
That's not a mermaid.
I can't. I haven't drawn a helicopter in so long. I'll just do a little spy one.
Michael says there's no painting that would not benefit from a tank or a helicopter.
That's true.
I can see that in the Mona Lisa.
Oh, yeah. That's what's missing.
Oh, Mona Lisa?
In the Mona Lisa. Needs a good helicopter or tank. Oh, but you know what? Make it a Da Vinci helicopter. That'd be cool. Just over her shoulder there. Didn't he also design a submersible craft?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He did. Speaking of going down.
Yeah.
And a tank.
Yeah, I wasn't sure.
And a tank. Yes.
Now,
and a
the
tank.
tank didn't have treads, though. It had did it have legs? Am I misremembering?
It had wheels and it was rounded with cannons.
Okay, I remember now.
Cannons, yeah.
I remember it now. Okay.
Devnall says happy little tanks and choppers.
With a Bob
And a
Ross.
Bob Ross.
Last few minutes, if anybody wants to throw bits, it's like throwing pennies at our faces. We love that shit. And it all adds up, as I did the math earlier, of thanks to you guys, you've thrown quite a bit at us today, and we very appreciate it.
Now, what you can't tell
Mm-hmm.
is in Chopper, I've got Ed driving, and I even put his little hat on.
I noticed you're using black ink.
That has a thick tip on it too.
It does. Very too for my pleasure.
You know, earlier
Easy
somebody, I was watching Madame Gandalf, and she mentioned something is big and black, and I typed out, why do I always hear the words big and black together? And then I deleted it because it's not my stream, and I didn't want to. It might have been complimentary.
It's not a shame. We have to be so careful. So censored now.
We've got a few episodes about that coming up. Wait till we get to the consent culture versus call-out culture, towing the line, and I've considered guests for that one, and I don't think we're going to have a guest for that one. I think it's just us because we know our temperaments, and
You know, there's like some new stuff going around about costumes and cosplay, and everybody's offended about every damn thing.
Every goddamn thing. Everything.
Andrea, tell them about the one post you saw where the one guy posted, is there a list of acceptable costumes?
Yeah, well, it's because there was someone got upset because there was a cosplayer that cosplayed a Nazi. Well, from what I got from that, the person cosplaying a Nazi was doing a panel or something on the Diary of Anne Frank and making Nazi jokes and things like that.
So it was a parody of a Nazi.
Yeah. And somebody got very upset and offended, and now it's like people are tiptoeing. What can we wear? What can we not wear? What's appropriate and what's not appropriate?
I can see where they're going with this.
Couple things real quick. Michael Whitehouse there says, I don't know anything about the effects of call-out culture. I have no experience with it. Flash and sarcasm. Deadnall threw a cupcake and 330 bits saying happy pre-birthday, Andrea. And Skipper dinged us twice. Here's to you guys. Thank you.
I like cupcakes.
3 times now. Okay, go on, Andrea, with the rest of that.
Well, with all this, my main thing, because, you know, I coordinate and run costume contests or masquerades, whatever you want to call them. And the only rule I really have is don't be naked.
Why? What the fuck you got against naked people?
Well,
That's my costume.
No costume equals no costume. You can't win for your costume if you're not wearing one.
You could be impressive, Ed.
It could be a costume.
Elizabeth?
Yes, Elizabeth.
Question. Okay, so what if someone was dressing up like a character from Castle Wolfenstein?
Mm-hmm.
Well, also,
You know, what if you were dressing up as a character from Mel Brooks' film?
Hellboy.
What if you were...
Well, I mean,
remember the villain in Hellboy with the steam Nazi guy?
I mean, isn't that itself, in a way, a part of fascism when you start taking away people's free speech?
Here's the deal.
Last
year,
even the Avengers, when you get into Red Skull, that's
right. That's a Nazi.
Well, and this happened at a Ren Fair or SCA thing or something. Somebody wore a swastika. Didn't that happen a few months ago?
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
I suspect I may have got banned from a con because I did a live talk of the Tavern. Hey, thank you, Michael. Appreciate that. Here's to you, buddy.
Thanks, Michael.
Cheers, Michael.
And I made a Jew joke in the middle, and it wasn't even horrible. It was one of the stereotypes about money or noses or whatever. And it shut the room down. Everybody, you actually heard the audible, oh. And I'm like, really? And I suspect that might have been one of the reasons why I was not invited back to that convention. Now, the other thing is I asked a genuine question about I was discussing bisexuality, transgender, and how some people seem to jump on it for attention and bandwagon. And I got shut down hard going, you don't have the right to ask these questions. How do I learn that?
How's anybody supposed to know then?
You know,
knowledge.
This is the opportunity to educate me, change my mind, bring other people into the conversation.
Travis was not asking in an asshole way. He was not trying to be a dick. He really wanted to know
their opinion.
Why?
Because they're living this, and I want to know, do they feel like their culture is being appropriated by essentially people that go, oh, look, I can get a lot of attention. Okay, dad joke for you. Let's see, not that one. Why do crabs never give to charity? Because they're shellfish.
Actually, you mentioning dad jokes, Travis.
Uh-huh.
Just keeping an eye on a couple of things on Facebook while we're chatting, and a dad joke scrolled down my feed. So I paused on it earlier to read to you. So now's as good a time as any. I asked my wife to polish my medieval battle uniform whilst I went to the pub for a pint, because she said last night that she wanted a night in shining armour.
Yeah, thank you again there, Michael. Appreciate it. Yeah, because I asked that
Ian
question.
said,
Go ahead.
huh?
Go ahead.
Ian said, would I be called out for cosplaying a cowboy or trapper or hell white?
And also,
Probably.
Michael
Nowadays.
commented, I got in trouble because I asked that question in public. Here's the deal, though. I was sharing a room with another transgender friend and hanging out with other bisexual friends. Yeah. And
I think the big word here about all of this is context. If I put a Nazi uniform on and go around my local high street for no apparent reason, handing out copies of Mein Kampf and extolling people to resurrect the Third Reich, I can understand people getting shitty with me. If I go to a costume party and crack Nazi-related puns in terrible bad humour all night, I can understand if you don't like my sense of humour, but I wouldn't expect you to be offended for the same reasons, you know?
Yeah.
What's offensive in one context is not offensive in another. And the problem is that people just seem to say these days, oh, look, there's something that someone potentially might be offended about, so I'm going to claim that's offensive regardless of the context it's used in.
This is why we need to do a show about it.
By the way,
because it's after 11 now.
Now, speaking of transgender, next week for the Cooking and Cannibalism, we have Stephanie McBride coming on the show, and she is transgender. So if anybody has an issue with that, stay the fuck off the show next week. If you don't have an issue, now we do have a whole show about that topic coming up down the road at May 3rd, I think. And it'll be on
but this
Thursday.
is not that show. This is about cooking and cannibalism.
But all
It's
I'm
about
saying is
how to correctly roast your long pig.
Yes, it is. Mad Hawkins, I remember being asked not to bring that comic book to class. Which comic book? What comic book?
And can we get copies?
Well, we are a controversial show, as I had pointed out.
It's probably Hellboy or something like that.
Oh,
you
it
know?
could be, yeah. But that has demons and religion and Nazis and all that. Anyhow, it is 11. Let's do some outro music, which we can...
And show the whole picture.
Show the whole picture. Okay. I'm going to zoom in on the picture as I play the outro music here.
Thanks for joining us in the discussion tonight.
Let's see the picture, Elizabeth. Move a little.
Show what it is.
Don't
forget to
the
join
picture.
us at the Tavern
Your
next
picture.
week. Until then, have fun, keep learning, and be good to one another.
Ritz called.
Now, raise your glass in good cheer. Enjoy the small moments every day.
Nice. Beautiful.
Steamy dreams every night.
Is it art or is it offensive?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and we'll do the closing toast here in a second. Okay, let's do a closing toast because we forgot that. Hey, guys, here's to you. Here's to us that we can have a discussion, learn, agree, disagree, and, hey, thanks for the support, all of it tonight, just by showing up or otherwise.
Thanks for
Cheers
joining
for coming
us, guys.
down.
You guys are awesome.
Okay, we're out of here. We will see you tomorrow at 1 where we have Benton Spiker on and discussing electronic music. Bye-bye.